Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 6N. Chapter 101. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 102. Use the sword of the previous dynasty to kill the official of the current dynasty. 3 watchers kneel for subscription. Was blown up again. Perceiving that the body is turned into endless dust, although the body of impure world reincarnation will gradually recover, but Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart is still a bit frustrated and helpless. The era belonging to him, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, is finally over. I knew it was so miserable. He shouldn't follow the first generation and second generation to return to Konoha village, solve. Immortal Zima glanced at the bombed Sarutobi Hiruzen, sighed, and made a mark with some palpitations. Puff. With a cracking sound, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was slowly recovering his body, completely turned into dust, his soul turned into a white light, and disappeared on the stage. Watching Sarutobi Hiruzen disappear, many ninjas and civilians in the square opened their eyes. But wisely didn't say anything. Even Tsunade, Hyuga Hiyashi, Uchiha Fugaku, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Might Guy and others didn't say nothing. Because after 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen dismissed impure world reincarnation, 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, 2nd Hokage Senju's office, and 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin began to confront each other. No one spoke. However, the atmosphere on the scene gradually became serious and tense. Affected by this, the whole square is silent. Numerous civilians and ninjas at the scene stared straight at 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, 2nd Hokage Senju Tobarama, and 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin. Uchiha Ryujin, you are really good. Advertisement. I don't know how long it has passed. 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama's eyes are cold, and he said blankly, Sarutobi misinterpreted the will of fire, but now you simply abolished the will of fire. Single quote. Did you know that I proposed the will of fire? After this sentence, a majestic momentum swept from Senju Hashirama's body. Yes, I took the initiative to abolish it. Facing Senju Hashirama's questioning, Uchiha Ryujin nodded neatly, and retorted without showing weakness, 1st Hokage, if you want to use the sword of the previous dynasty to kill the official of the dynasty, it will not work. What did you say? After hearing this sentence, Senju Hashirama once again increased his aura and coercion, as 1st Hokage. Of course he could hear Uchiha Ryujin's implication, that is, his time has passed, the will of fire is outdated, and it is not suitable for the current Konoha village. Okay, I'll just make it clearer, now I am Naruto of Konoha village. Everything must listen to me, understand? After this sentence, with a move of Zebo Ryujin's mind, he burst out with a terrifying aura that seemed to make the heaven and the earth surrender without showing weakness, and went violently towards Senju Hashirama's suppression. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The next moment, 2 invisible auras bombarded together, causing the air to send out a wave. And that powerful imposing collision wave. Not only did the countless people on the square need their minds for a while, but Konoha village began to tremble slightly, giving people a vaguely feeling that Konoha village would collapse at any time. Perceive if this invisible momentum confronts. 2nd Hokage Senju Tobarama, who was standing behind Senju Hashirama, had a strange look in his eyes. Advertisement. He really didn't expect Uchiha Ryujin's momentum to be so domineering and powerful. Others may not feel it, but he can feel it clearly. His elder brother Senju Hashirama's aura is beginning to show signs of being suppressed. Break it for me. At this time, Uchiha Ryujin was too lazy to give Senju Hashirama any face, so he gave a cold snort and directly released Conqueror's Haki. Just kidding, you are the god of ninja world. Laozi is also the god of ninja. Your will of fire. Not my will of fire. What happened to Laozi's abolition? Not to mention, you don't have Conqueror's Haki. He's still a dead person from impure world reincarnation, and installed a hammer. Bang. A few seconds later, under the perception of many people at the scene, Uchiha Ryujin's aura was almost like a ruin. He crushed Senju Hashirama's aura and defeated him in one blow. What? The aura of 1st Hokage seems to be suppressed. How can it be possible to ask for flowers? 1st Hokage's momentum has fallen. At the moment Senju Hashirama's aura was crushed, part of the square was a ninja, and suddenly reacted, eyes filled with incredible colors. Are you kidding me? Ninja god 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama's aura is crushed like this. Fortunately, both Uchiha Ryujin and Senju Hashirama control their aura from overflowing. Otherwise, just an invisible aura confrontation will be necessary. It left Konoha village with countless casualties. This guy. 2nd Hokage Senju Tobarama's eyes were filled with shock. He finally knows why Toad Sage said Uchi. Advertisement. Bo Ryujin is an outlier. How old is this? Just broke out such a terrifying aura. You know. His elder brother Senju Hashirama is the god of ninja world. For a time, even if Senju Tobirama was born with a prejudice against the Uchiha clan, he had to admit that Uchiha Ryujin really deserved the title of the God of Ninja. At least at the same age. Neither his elder brother Senju Hashirama nor Uchiha Madara can compare to Uchiha Ryujin. Are you strong? Senju Hashirama couldn't help but sigh at this moment, sensing his aura being crushed. Upon hearing this sentence, Uchiha Ryujin frowned, showing a vigilant color, as everyone knows. Both Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama like to pretend. In the original book, he can remember that Senju Hashirama praised Nine Tails when he was dealing with Nine Tails, but ended up hanging Nine Tails to fight. Do not worry. Seems to see Uchiha Ryujin's fear. Senju Hashirama's cheek flashed with a hint of surprise, and he couldn't help sighing. I thought that after Madara and I, there will be no one who can dominate the ninja world. The ninja of the times, but I didn't expect that the Uchiha clan actually appeared again. Single quote. Chapter 102. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 103 The Battle of Gods, 4 more kneels for subscription. Yes, I heard this sentence. Senju Tobirama, who hasn't spoken all the time, said indifferently, this time we came to Konoha village, in fact, to meet you, the new god of the Uchiha clan. Single quote. When it comes to this, Senju Tobirama also looked at the Tsunade in the square, and a rare smile appeared on his serious cheeks. By the way, he came back to see the princess of our Senju clan. 1. Little Tsunade, are you okay? At this time, the look on Senju Hashirama's face also eased, revealing a rare doting color, and couldn't help but wave his hand at Tsunade. Grandfather. Looking at the first generation project and the second generation project. Somehow, Tsunade's eyes were a little moist. She knew very well that in order to ensure that the Senju family did not affect the rights of Hokage, when the first generation and second generation of 730 were in place, they started to let the Senju family the ninja was broken into pieces. It's a pity. It's useless, the Senju clan will always be the Senju clan. After Mr. Sarutobi took office, he began to suppress the Senju clan for the first time. As long as you have the blood of the Senju clan, you may die inexplicably, and you can't find any clues or reasons. Seeing this scene, people such as Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi, Kakashi and others all sighed indiscriminately. The rule of the political group headed by Sarutobi Hiruzen is empathetic. Teacher Sarutobi. Jiraiya shook his head bitterly. After all, the old man paid a bloody price for what he did. Advertisement. After listening to Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, Uchiha Ryujin raised his brows, his expression unchanged. He was about to take a look at what these two Hokage wanted to do. Okay, I'm not talking nonsense anymore. At the next moment, Senju Hashirama took a deep breath and said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter if you want to abolish the will of fire. After all, you are the 5th Hokage of Konoha village, but, after all, strength is king. Single quote. It's been a long time since we're fighting, let's go and play outside Konoha village. Yes. Uchiha Ryujin thought for a while, then nodded in agreement. If you have strength, you can do whatever you want. The so-called will of fire is just a manifestation of the will of Senju Hashirama's powerful strength. And this time Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama came to Konoha village, maybe they just wanted to see how strong he is. In this case, he let first generation and second generation see it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. When Whitebeard in the peak period opened the full body under the blessing of Sage Body. How exploded after Susanoo, at least it was invincible under the 6 realms. Okay, in that case, let's take a look at what the Battle of the Gods is. Seeing Uchiha Ryujin agrees, Senju Hashirama glanced around, looking sharply at the corner of the square who was already scared. Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke and other children who were dumbfounded, said, you guys too. What? After hearing this sentence, Naruto seems to have been stimulated, and there are waves of pounding phosphorus-tailed beast chakra. Little Nine Tails, do you want to be beaten? Seeing this scene, Uchiha Ryujin frowned and hummed. After this sentence, the Nine Tails in Naruto's body curled his lips. Advertisement. But, thinking of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Ryujin's perversion, they shuddered and shivered. They couldn't provoke them. They just hid. Immediately under everyone's eyes, chakra, the tailed beast on Uzumaki Naruto, disappeared quickly. Interesting. Senju Hashirama smiled, took a look at Uchiha Ryujin, and said, how obedient to clean up Nine Tails. Can Nine Tails hurt people? Senju Hashirama's expression became stiff, as if he had been beaten in the face, and his body flew away from Konoha village. You keep up with, round. Accompanied by the sound of a happy break through the sky. Uchiha Ryujin flashed his body and followed him. Let's go to watch the game. The Battle of the Gods, thinking about it, is all exciting. After 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama and 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin left, the tension in the square eased, and many ninjas showed excitement. Even Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Might Guy, Uchiha Fugaku and others all showed their longing. Just kidding, one is 1st Hokage and the other is 5th Hokage. They are not fuel-efficient lamps. Once they fight, they will definitely win the battle. Lila. There were bursts of sound. Many ninjas in Konoha village began to fly away from Konoha village. As for civilians, they still have self-awareness. Advertisement. Knowing that this kind of battle is not something ordinary people like them can watch. Half an hour later, outside of Konoha village, the battlefield where Konoha village and the 4 ninja allied forces fought, Uchiha Ryujin and Senju Hashirama looked at each other from the air. Although no one spoke, but the invisible war spirit swept through the sky. Uchiha Ryujin, you have to be careful. Senju Hashirama stretched out his arm and squeezed his fist. He said, Toad Sage, what he displayed was impure world reincarnation with extremely high purity. Karma. The voice hasn't finished yet. A horrible chakra wave roared from Senju Hashirama. Mushi birthday of the tree world. Accompanied by a low shout, boom. I saw that the battlefield began to shake, and a lot of cracks appeared. Then, under the horrified eyes of countless Konoha shinobi, countless 3.0 entangled towering trees emerged from the ground, with unstoppable power. Rolling towards Uchiha Ryujin. Air shock. Facing Senju Hashirama's attack, Uchiha Ryujin squeezed his right fist, and the power of armament haki and shock fruit was wrapped around the fist, and the punch hit the air directly in front of him. Click. This is the sound of cracks in the air. In the next instant, a wave-like luminous white shocking force violently bombarded the towering trees. With a deafening roar, the towering trees were torn apart by living needs. Chapter 103. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 104 When Whitebeard opens Susanoo. Is this the legendary Mushi? What? Actually blasted 1st Hokage's Mutong. Master 5th Hokage's fist was as brutal as before, too violent, as if it could explode anything. At the edge of the battlefield. When seeing 5th Hokage hit 1st Hokage's tree world birth with one punch, many ninjas in Konoha village suddenly made an uproar. So strong. 2nd Hokage Senju Tobarama's body appeared on a cliff, jumped looking at the battlefield, muttered to himself, are the Uchiha clan not playing cards according to common sense now? What kind of blood inheritance limit is this, which can actually be alive? The tree world of the eldest brother was born and exploded. On the battlefield, interesting. Senju Zudu smiled, and while chakra was surging, he made a few seals again, Mutong Mulong technique. Boom. 5 roars sounded. I saw the 5 shattered towering trees violently transformed into 5 huge wooden dragons, erupting a terrifying power 19, with a sweeping momentum, once again attacked Uchiha Ryujin. It just happened. Faced with 5 huge wooden dragons that are almost suffocating. A strong warfare flashed across Uchiha Ryujin's cheeks, and armament haki quickly entangled his whole body, and he rushed out with a clenched fist. That's right, just rushed out and exploded to me. Huh. With a sound of breaking through the air, Uchiha Ryujin appeared in front of one of the wooden dragons in a flash, and hit the wooden dragon's head with one punch. It's useless, the wood dragon's defenses are extremely strong, and it can also absorb chakra. Advertisement. Senju Hashirama hadn't finished speaking yet, the huge wooden dragon had a visible crack on its body, and finally it exploded. And this is just the beginning, I saw Zebo Ryujin's body constantly moving. Then they bombarded the other 4 giant wooden dragons, clicking and clicking. 4 more bursting sounds sounded, and the 4 giant wooden dragons were once again blasted alive by Uchiha Ryujin in their ferocious roar. Shocking. Facing this jaw-dropping scene, countless Konoha shinobi. There was an extremely shocked look on his face. No way, it was really Uchiha Ryujin's violent madness, without using any chakra and Sharingan abilities, just pure physical skills and the strange energy in the fist. One punch Jiao forcefully blasted the 5 wooden dragons of 1st Hokage. To know. This is a wooden dragon that even a tail beast can suppress. But, in front of Uchiha Ryujin-sama's fist, there is no use for eggs. It should be exploded, or it was exploded like a rotten weapon. I still don't believe it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Facing the humanoid monster Uchiha Ryujin. Senju Hashirama's expression also became solemn, and the terrifying chakra surging out again, his hands quickly sealed, wood-style wooden golem jutsu. Boom. A roar sounded. I saw a towering tree constantly evolving. The final incarnation is a huge wooden golem that is enough to complete Susanoo Jaime. Boom. Advertisement. After this giant wooden golem appeared, the ground on the entire battlefield began to tremble slightly. Cool. Seeing the appearance of wooden golem that looked like a behemoth, Uchiha Ryujin yelled in excitement, and finally he could fight with full firepower. The next moment, in full view, Uchiha Ryujin flew toward the wooden golem again. Humph. Senju Hashirama snorted coldly, and with a movement of his mind, he controlled wooden golem to wave a huge fist in his hand, and detonated at Zebo Ryujin at an extremely fast speed. Seeing wooden golem stretched out his fist, Uchiha Ryujin smiled, also stretched out his fist that was entangled by the power of shock fruit and armament haki. Mold time. The two fists, one large and one small, fought fiercely together, booming. The shock wave of horrible collision energy swept out, causing the air to explode in an instant. With that horrible power, the scalp of many Konoha shinobi people was tingling for a while. Taste rub. Click rub. But. Under such violent power, Uchiha Ryujin's body remained motionless. On the contrary, after the power of the fruit and the armed color powder invaded wooden golem's body, it caused the giant wooden golem's body to appear a series of cracks like a spider's web, and finally, it collapsed suddenly. Was blown up again. A look of horror appeared in Senju Hashirama's eyes. As the legendary god of ninjas, he knew how terrifying his wooden golem was, but he was hammered abruptly. This was something he had never encountered before. Advertisement. This is a monster, it seems to be trickier than Uchiha Madara. Wait, this ninjutsu, is it? On the cliff, second Hokage. Senju Hashirama sighed in disbelief, but just as Senju Hashirama was about to say something, he saw the big, Senju Hashirama's face appeared on the cheek, and he was kind shock. Boom. The terrifying chakra and natural energy are surging crazily. 613. In a low growl, Senju Hashirama folded his hands together and appeared on his cheeks. One by one weird black patterns. Yes, this is impressively the fairy face in sage mode. Sage art wood style true number Senju. In the crazy trembling of the earth, a huge Guanyin statue with countless giant arms appeared on the battlefield, and the terrifying power directly suppressed the audience. Is this the true strength of first Hokage, which is known as the god of the ninja world? So big, really big. It feels like a single blow can destroy our Konoha village, and the tail beast can be used as a toy in one hand. Single quote. In the face of the terrifying truth Senju, countless Konoha shinobi showed a dumbfounded look. This huge Guanyin statue is so terrible, even a glance is breathtaking. Has it finally appeared? At this time, Uchiha Ryujin took a deep breath, and the fighting spirit in his eyes became more vigorous. He has never used Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan's complete body Susanoo. Now you can see how strong Whitebeard was in the Gundam battle at his peak. Chapter 104. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 105 The Battle at the Peak, one more kneels for subscription. Mouth. Now that I have an idea. Uchiha Ryujin's eyes began to turn scarlet, with an extremely depressing aura, and three Guyu connected together appeared in his eyes. And this is just the beginning. In the next instant, along with the chakra fluctuations of ordinary pound pigs, Uchiha Ryujin's sage body was also fully urged. In full view, a huge blue skeleton of a skeleton is enveloped in Uchiha Ryujin's body. Immediately on the basis of the skeleton began to be covered with meridians and flesh and blood, put on the Wudiongu Yingja, and two Wudiongu wings grew on the back. Finally, a blue complete body Susanoo enveloped Uchiha Ryujin's body. Perhaps under the blessing of sage body, looking from a distance, the body of this blue giant is actually not inferior to the huge size of Senju. Looking at such a huge perfect body Susanoo, at the edge of the battlefield. Many Konoha shinobi spectators trembled and fell into a dull state. Actually, it's not just them. Even Senju Tobarama's expression has twitched a bit, it is really Uchiha. Advertisement. Ryujin's endless terrifying abilities, even for him, are all in shock. More importantly, the horrible chakra fluctuations, he knew as soon as he felt that sage body had erupted. But, how could the Uchiha clan awaken sage body? This is incredible. Could the times really change? The abnormality of the Uchiha clan is truly extreme. Second Hokage Senju Tobarama spread his hands and sighed inwardly, apparently being hit by Uchiha Ryujin. And now, he no longer doubts Uchiha Ryujin's strength and abilities. How exactly does Uchiha Ryujin cultivate backquote? At this time, Senju Hashirama, who was standing on Senju, had a strange look in his eyes. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. As a man who has fought with Uchiha, he certainly knows that Uchiha Ryujin's Mangekyo Sharingan must already be in the state of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. In addition, he has very strong physical skills, his body is also a sage body, and he has a strange shock power. The thought made him a little surprised. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, sage body, and the strange shock power, is this too strong? After a breathtaking sigh, Senju Hashirama's expression became excited, and he gave a low drink without hesitation, sage art mushi top of the Buddha. Click, click, click. The next moment, accompanied by the sound of countless wood twisting. The countless giant arms derived from Senju clenched their fists at the same time. Immediately, without any signs, he moved violently, and bombarded the perfect body Susanoo directly in front of him like a squally storm. Advertisement. Good come. Faced with this attack, Uchiha Ryujin grinned and controlled the complete body Susanoo, the top armament Haki, the shock power, and the sage body chakra at the same time. The next moment, the blue complete body Susanoo clenched both fists, and blasted towards Senju's thousands of arms without fear. Boom, boom. A few seconds later, there were deafening roars. Facing the true number Senju's attack on the top of the Buddha, Uchiha Ryujin controlled the blue perfect body. Susanoo shook his fist frantically, sending out countless shocking shock waves. Ever since, in this case, accompanied by shock waves of collision energy, the air burst. The entire battlefield was trembling crazily, as if the end was coming. The horror reached the extreme. In the face of Susanoo's almost crazy fist, many Konoha shinobi people can clearly see that Senju's giant hand has been forcibly beaten into countless sawdust, scattered in the air. Zebo Ryujin, it's useless, even if it's blown up, the back of our hands can quickly recover. Seeing this scene, Senju Hashirama didn't panic at all, and snorted. You only have 2 arms, and I have thousands of arms. If you have the ability, you can blow it all up. Mouth. After this sentence, the countless arms that had been blown up unexpectedly regrown again miraculously, and once again detonated towards the blue Susanoo. Wait a minute, my attack speed seems to have slowed down. However, at the moment of the attack. Advertisement. Senju Hashirama felt a little bit of effort. The truth is that Senju's thousands of giant arms seem to be stuck in a quagmire, and the speed begins to slow down. On the contrary, complete body controlled by Uchiha Ryujin Susanoo's 2 violent fists, punching faster. The master moves, the slightest difference is 1,000 miles away, not to mention the figures like Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Ryujin who stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world. Boom. The roar of explosions rang out in less than a second. The real number of Senju's hundreds of giant arms was blown up alive. It's impossible, why is this? Senju Hashirama was a little confused. When the attack speed was reduced, he really counted the thousands of Senjus. The giant arm has become a living target. Yes, it is a living target. Especially in full body Susanoo's punching speed is still accelerating. This, for money. How is this possible? First Hokage Sama's true number Senju's attack seems to have slowed down. The blue Susanoo controlled by 5th Hokage, the attack seems to be getting faster and faster, and it is completely unclear. On the edge of the battlefield, watching the huge blue Susanoo begin to press down Senju's thousands of hands, many ninjas in Konoha village made an incredible uproar. The attack speed slows down, it seems that only the ability of time can affect the big brother, right? At this time, 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama seemed to be aware of something, his expression changed suddenly, and he couldn't help but let out a horror. Uchiha Ryujin's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan absolutely possessed the ability to control time. Chapter 105. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 106 Under the 6 Paths, it's invincible. Time. When I think of this. Senju Tobirama's eyes were wide, and his unsteady look became even more shocked. As the man who developed Flying Thunder God technique, he certainly knows how terrifying these 2 special abilities, time and space, are. I understand. At this time, Senju Hashirama, who stood above the real number Senju, also reacted. He admitted that he still underestimated Uchiha Ryujin. From the beginning until now, he has been shocked by Uchiha Ryujin's various methods. The results of it. Now Uchiha Ryujin has shown his ability to control time. First Hokage, you are indeed very strong. Bang, bang. Accompanied by the deafening roar of chickens. After blasting hundreds of giant arms of Senju in a row, Uchiha Ryujin controlled his complete body Susanoo and said in awe-inspiring warfare, I haven't been so cool in a long time. You know, over the years, Uchiha Ryujin keeps getting stronger by signing in. Especially after unlocking the Whitebeard template in the peak period, he has never been cool. Many times he has not used Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It relies on the ability of Whitebeard during the epilepsy period, the sage body, the top-armed color needs. She has already crushed everything. Until now, facing the legendary god of the ninja world first Hokage Senju Hashirama, he finally has full firepower. As for why Senju's 450 attack speed slows down, and Susanoo's attack speed becomes faster. Of course it's because he used Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan's natal pupil technique, that is, the time of the left eye is accelerated, and the time of the right eye is reversed. In other words, he blessed the real number Senju with a time deceleration buff, and gave his complete body Susanoo a time acceleration buff, and this was the situation where he played with the real number Senju. Advertisement. I still don't believe it. After hearing these words, Senju Hashirama took a deep breath, folded his hands together, and the chakra in the whole body skyrocketed again. Influenced by the head of the Buddha, whose attack speed had slowed down, seemed to speed up again. In an instant, countless giant arms once again shot countless shadows of fists. The terrifying power burst the air and the space faintly trembled. You are still too slow. When Zibo Ryujin saw this, the corner of his mouth appeared to be curved, and his mind moved, and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power once again skyrocketed. Special. No matter how many big arms you have. Laozi will blow you up all at once. In this case. Blue body above Susanoo's two giant fists, a large number of armament haki mixed with the power of shock fruit appeared, in the power of Susanoo. With the blessing of sage body chakra, in the end, it slammed out. Way wipe. Click wipe. At the moment the fist hits. The sparkling white power burst out frantically, directly causing the space to split. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Yes, you read it right. It's not the air bursting but the space is cracking. Immediately afterwards, under the gaze of countless people, the blue perfect body Susanoo's two giant fists bombarded Senju's countless giant wooden fists head on at extremely fast speeds. Boom. A roar of ruining the world resounded. The terrifying shock wave of collision energy swept out at a speed that was too fast to cover your ears. And where the two are at war. There are no words to describe the horrible scene of this encounter. Looking from a distance, there are a lot of cracks like spider webs in the space, as if they are about to break at any time, and there are a lot of cracks on the ground, just like a magnitude 10 earthquake. Advertisement. More importantly, under such a terrifying confrontation, the blue complete body Susanoo's two giant fists only trembled a few times, while the thousands of giant arms of Senju trembled a few times, exploding indiscriminately. Was blown up abruptly. Looking at this scene, second Hokage Senju Tobirama took the lead in reacting. Looking at the blue perfect body Susanoo, who looked like a god in the field, showed a ghostly look. Monster. Not only did it split the space, but also exploded the countless giant arms of Senju. What a terrifying force is this? This level of engagement. At the edge of the battlefield, even though it is far away. Far. But, Kakashi, Might Guy, Jiraiya, Tsunade and others all swallowed carefully, only feeling that their hearts were constantly trembling. BJFA. As for the countless Konoha village ninjas, I was completely frightened, and my eyes were dull. Of course, there were two exceptions. That is, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, who are only about 6 years old, seem to be invisibly influenced by Indra Chakra and Ashura Chakra. Although people are already stupid, but Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke still have some sense of reason, and they are constantly deep in their hearts. Call it awesome. At the same time, on top of Senju's huge head, Senju Hashirama looked at the thousands of giant arms that had been blown up in a moment with a sense of loss. He shook his head in a daze, put his hands together, and exited sage mode. Although he is in the state of impure world reincarnation, but Senju Hashirama himself knows very well that he has lost. Uchiha Ryujin's strength and abilities have surpassed the original Uchiha Madara, especially the power of the last move, even surpasses the prestige Susanoo used by Uchiha Madara. You are chlorine. Advertisement. A few seconds later, Senju Hashirama took a deep breath and said in a deep voice with a complex expression. Even in the Sengoku period, you were invincible. Did you win? Uchiha Ryujin stood on the blue body Susanoo's head and couldn't bear it. This time, he was almost full of firepower, complete body Susanoo, sage body, eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, top armament haki, and the abilities of Whitebeard in the peak period. This is just as good as first generation. It seems that in the coming days, he will work hard to sign in and become stronger. At least to reach the 6 levels, so as to relax a little bit. Konoha village has you. It's really fortunate that Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen damn it. Senju Hashirama sighed again. Is it? Uchiha Ryujin put his arms around his chest and looked at Senju Hashirama from a distance. He felt a faint smile and said, then I abolish the will of fire. Do you have any comments? Did not hear this sentence. Senju Hashirama shook his head bitterly, with a bit of admiration in his tone, saying, in this era, without an opponent, you will be very boring. It won't be boring. Uchiha Ryujin thought about it for a moment, and then slowly said, although the world is so small that there are so few areas to expand, but it is barely enough for me to toss. Sing. Senju Hashirama frowned and glanced at Uchiha Ryujin in surprise. He didn't know if it was an illusion. Hearing this, he actually saw a little bit of Uchiha Madara in Uchiha Ryujin. It looks like a hallucination. However, thinking of Uchiha Ryujin's terrifying strength, Senju Hashirama shook his head in disbelief. Maybe he missed Uchiha Madara too much. As for stopping Uchiha Ryujin, then don't be kidding. he and Haima are dead, and their era has passed. This era is the era of 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin, so no matter where Uchiha Ryujin wants to lead Konoha village, he has no right to be nosy. Chapter 106. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 107 The Gift of First Generation, Planting Trees. Ended. The battle of the gods of the ninja world is simply terrifying. The place where Uchiha Madara and First Hokage fought was called the Valley of the End. Now we will call the place where 5th Hokage and First Hokage fought, and call it the Valley of Gods. The name of the Valley of the Gods is okay, it's better that we put up a statue of 1st generation and 5th generation, here. After Uchiha Ryujin and Senju Hashirama ended the battle, many Konoha shinobi at the edge of the battlefield gradually reacted, and while showing horror on their faces. There were also exclamation sounds, and some ninjas had already begun to name the battlefield where 1st generation and 5th generation were fighting. So amazing. 5th Hokage's strength is already able to endure the world alone. After this great war, the title of Lord 5th Hokage, the god of the ninja world, will no longer dare to question. And right in front of the Konoha shinobi, Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi, Nara Shikahisa and others, after looking at each other, they can see the excitement in their eyes. They are very clear. As long as 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is strong enough, then you will not be timid when you do things, you will not worry about the unstable rule of your own, nor will you suppress Konoha's major families, and you will not be like 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, attacking hard inside, and acting only on the outside. So strong. Jiraiya sighed helplessly and murmured to himself, Konoha village has now taken off completely, I should continue to collect my materials. Even Grandpa was defeated. Tsunade couldn't help but rubbed his eyes, a hint of wonder appeared on his cheeks. Advertisement. Ha ha ha. What a wonderful battle. Might Guy was very excited to show his big white teeth, put a pause, said, youth is blood, 5th Hokage is my idol. After hearing this sentence, Kakashi looked awkwardly back a few steps, as if to show that he didn't know Might Guy. At the same moment, the central area of the battlefield. Alright, 5th Hokage, Tobirama and I should also go back to where we should go. Senju Hashirama spread his hands and said in a meaningful way, you are very strong, maybe you can go another way. Yes, you can. Uchiha Ryujin nodded indifferently, huh. Accompanied by a sound of breaking through the air, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Senju Tobirama's body also appeared on the top of Senju's skull. Brother, you and Uchiha Madara seem to be on the wrong path, maybe 5th Hokage is going to go the right way. Senju Tobirama's eyes must be certain, and he said thoughtfully. One sentence. Hope so. Senju Hashirama glanced at Uchiha Ryujin. Dao, everyone has their own Dao, what does it matter who is right and who is wrong? It seems to be the truth, then let's go. After saying this, Senju hired a look at Uchiha Ryujin with a complicated expression, opened his mouth, trying to say something, but in the end he didn't say anything. The Dao is different, and the contradiction between him and the Uchiha family cannot be explained clearly in 1 or 2 sentences. Advertisement. It is good. Senju Hashirama turned his gaze and looked at Tsunade on the edge of the battlefield. He couldn't help but waved at Tsunade. But wait a minute. Just when Senju Hashirama and Senju wanted to leave, Uchiha Ryujin seemed to have thought of something, and said with some embarrassment, 1st Hokage, anyway, you are in the state of impure world reincarnation, it is better to plant trees in the country of fire. Planting trees for afforestation. After hearing these words, Kakuzu, the mouth between Senju Hashirama and Senju's hire, twitched slightly. If it weren't for this guy in front of him as 5th Hokage, they might have burst out directly. What's more, let the famous 1st Hokage go to plant trees, maybe only this Uchiha Ryujin just said it. 1st Hokage, 2nd Hokage, this time the 4 ninja allied forces were defeated, although they compensated us with a lot of land. Uchiha Ryujin showed a look of helplessness, and said bitterly, but, the natural environment of these lands is not very good, so. Seeking flowers 0. You are ruthless. Senju Hashirama couldn't help gritting his teeth, and said in a deep voice, let Tsunade take good care of himself, planting trees, not as an example. Big. Senju Tobirama's expression was a little stiff, and he walked, planting trees. Senju Hashirama waved his hand in irritation and said, it was my last gift to Konoha village. Single quote. Okay. Senju Tobirama nodded helplessly, grinning. 2 sounds of breaking through the air sounded. Advertisement. The bodies of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama disappeared on the battlefield. Perfect. After seeing the departure of the 1st generation project and the 2nd generation project, Uchiha Ryujin grinned and shook his fist very comfortably, letting 1st generation go to plant trees, maybe only he can think of it. The next day, a piece of news once again detonated the entire ninja world. That's why 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin, who just came to the throne, defeated 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, who came out through Impure World reincarnation. As soon as the news came out. Let the ninja world, which is not quite peaceful at first. Once again, the stormy waves were set off, and countless ninjas showed unbelievable expressions. 1st Hokage was actually released by Impure World reincarnation and defeated by 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin. Isn't this too dreamy? Originally, everyone still had doubts about the title of 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin, the god of the ninja world. Now, I don't doubt it at all. 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is a veritable god of ninja world. Time. Uchiha Ryujin's popularity is the same in the ninja world. Of course, there is also a small episode that the green area of the country of fire has reached a new high, and the land that the 4 ninja allied forces compensated Konoha village has also turned into a lush forest. Chapter 107. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 108 Nagato's decision. Akatsuki organizes action, 4 more kneels for subscription. Valley of Gods. Shit. Along with a slight chakra fluctuation, I saw a person wearing a black windbreaker embroidered with red clouds and a wind chime hat on his head suddenly appeared at the edge of the Valley of the Gods, and then he glanced indifferently with the purple Rinnegan. Glancing at the battlefield. Yes, he is Heaven Pain. After learning about the battle between 1st Hokage and 5th Hokage, at the same time it was incredible, it also made Nagato panic in his heart. By Jing, 5th Hokage Zijibo Ryujin can defeat Impure World Reincarnation's 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama. That ability and strength are absolutely beyond doubt. In the future, it will definitely be the biggest stumbling block to the success of Akatsuki's organization. 5th Hokage. I don't know how long it has passed. Rinnegan of Tiandao Uan became cold, and murmured to himself in a blank expression, in front of the power of God, you have no chance of winning. Slideshow body technique. Along with Rinnegan's pupil power fluctuations. After receiving the thought wave that was released by the members of the Akatsuki organization and converted into chakra, Tiandao Pain revealed the phantoms of the members one by one. Chief, what's the matter? One of the phantoms had just appeared, and I couldn't help but swearing and complaining, Lord Cthulhu is waiting for me to recruit believers for him. Is this the battlefield where 1st Hokage and 5th Hokage are fighting? What a powerful destructive power. Advertisement. This 5th Hokage character Ryujin, how did you practice it to defeat 1st Hokage who was reincarnated? After some of the remaining phantoms appeared, I was shocked, but after seeing the Valley of the Gods, I couldn't help but let out a series of exclamations. No way. The battlefield of the Valley of Gods is really shocking. Okay, it's all quiet next. At this time, Tiandao Pain yelled in a cold voice, 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin's strength, should you all know it in your heart. Chief, you are not going to do something on Konoha village, right? Hearing these words, a phantom with Warren's beheaded sword on his back couldn't help but ask. Do you want to do Konoha village? Fortunately, as soon as the expressions of the other phantoms became serious, the phantom that belonged to Uchiha Itachi trembled slightly. We must do something to Konoha village. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Tendo Pain pondered for a long time, and then said coldly, Uchiha Ryujin's strength has grown too fast, and if I don't do anything, I am worried that I will not be able to suppress him in the future. No doubt, Nagato is a little anxious. Especially after Konoha village has included 3 tails, 8 tails, and 5 tails in the bag. Looking at the more powerful 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin, Nagato's heart is more and more anxious. Because, if Uchiha Ryujin is allowed to grow stronger without pressure, what else will Akatsuki organization play? Just disband it on the spot, and peace in the ninja world will never come. Therefore, even if the time is not ripe, it is ripe. Quiet. After these words, the phantoms on the scene became silent. Advertisement. Whether it is Hidan, Kakuzu, Sasori, Loquat Juzo, Konan, Uchiha no, or the newly joined Akatsuki Deidara and Hoshigaki Kisame, there is nothing to say. At this stage, 5th Hokage Zibo Ryujin is in full swing in the ninja world. If Akatsuki takes action against Konoha village, the risk factor is undoubtedly extremely high. After all, Uchiha Ryujin is now known as the god of ninja. This task is difficult. At this time, Tiandao Pain glanced around and said in a deep voice, but once it succeeds, our Shao organization will be able to take 3 tails, 5 tails, 8 tails, and 9 tails into the bag. A few seconds later, the phantom of the Loquat and 10 lilies gritted his teeth and said, 3 tails is in Konoha village, this is my goal. Agree. I agree too. This is really a challenging task. Cthulhu must really like the ninjas of Konoha village as sacrifices. With the beginning of Loquat Ten-chan, the rest of Hoshigaki Kisame, Kakuzu, Hidan, Deidara and other unruly people all showed cold smiles in no particular order. Joke. 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is very strong. But, they are all S-rank rebels from major ninja villages, and they have no scruples and fears in their hearts. Of course, more importantly, the members of Akatsuki's organization are very confident in the leader's Rinnegan. After all, this is the eyes of the legendary sage of 6 paths. Among them, only Conan's phantom opened his mouth, trying to dissuade, but in the end, he said nothing. Advertisement. It is good. Seeing that everyone agreed, Tiandao Pain nodded with satisfaction. By the way, why is Orochimaru not here? At the next moment, Hidan seemed to have discovered something and yelled. Not to mention Orochimaru is okay. When talking about Orochimaru, Tiandao Pen, he couldn't help but snorted, saying, Orochimaru has renounced Akatsuki organization, as for the reason. When he said this, Tiandao Uan glanced at the phantom of Uchiha who had not spoken. Ring, the voice hasn't fallen yet. Kakuzu, Hidan, Deidara and others looked at Uchiha wrong. Orochimaru had a different purpose from our Akatsuki organization. In addition, Orochimaru wanted to capture 3.5 of my body as a reincarnation container, and was killed by my Mangekyo Sharingan with a magic spell, and then left Akatsuki organization. In the face of everyone's eyes, Uchiha replied coldly, ha ha ha. Sasori made a dumb voice and said with a smile, Orochimaru, this guy, is really interesting, he defected to us if he was killed in a second. Without Orochimaru, I'm really a bit uncomfortable. Loquat Juzo grinned and said lightly. It's boring. Kakuzu put his arms around his chest and shook his head. Okay, after we do something about Konoha village, let's deal with Orochimaru's affairs. Finally, Tiandao Pain gave a cold command. Chapter 108. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 109 Obito's mind, Orochimaru's decision. The country of rain. In a dark and cold cave, Nagato couldn't help but do something to Konoha village. Black Zetsu and White Zetsu merged into one, emerged from the ground, and White Zetsu couldn't help but say something. Can't help it at last. Upon hearing this sentence, Uchiha Obito, who was closing his eyes and rested, opened his eyes kindly, and sneered. After defeating Senju Hashirama of Impure World Reincarnation, Uchiha Ryujin is already a veritable god of ninja, and his growing strength caused Nagato to panic. Yup. Black Zetsu said coldly, 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is getting stronger and stronger, and Akatsuki's pressure is increasing. The only thing I didn't expect was that Toad Sage actually had Impure World Reincarnation for 1st generation, 2nd generation and 3rd generation. Uchiha Obito shook his head a little puzzled, and wondered, isn't the 3 sacred places not a matter of not interfering in the ninja world? The big toad touched the immortal, the old immortal toad, talking just fart. Black Zetsu exclaimed in a very uncomfortable tone. Special. Had it not been for the old toad like a big picker. He taught Sage of 6 Paths and resurrected Otsutsuki Hamura with the charm of 19 people. His mother, Otsutsuki Kagaya, will not be sealed. Therefore, he has extreme hatred for the gods. Okay. Uchiha Obito glanced at Black Zetsu with some confusion. To be honest, it was the first time he saw Black Zetsu's mood swings. I just can't understand the 3 holy places. Black Zetsu shook his head, and added with hindsight that the 3 holy places are not fuel-efficient lamps. Advertisement. Uchiha Obito has no doubt about him, saying, if Nagato wants to attack Konoha village, let him do it. We just need to make sure that Rinnegan doesn't lose it. He doesn't trust us anyway. Okay. Both Black Zetsu and White Zetsu simply agreed. For them, Nagato and Akatsuki are just a pawn in their hands. If they die, they die. There is no big deal. Correct. Suddenly, Uchiha Obito seemed to have thought of something, and said slowly, Impure World Reincarnation is a forbidden technique, we have to get it. I know who has. Black Zetsu limited his eyes and said in a deep voice. It happened that I was also very interested in the technique of Impure World Reincarnation. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Who? Uchiha Obito asked somewhat curiously. Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas. White Zetsu thought for a while, and said, Orochimaru seems to have a deep research on Impure World Reincarnation. A few days ago, he just quit Akatsuki. It is good. Hearing these words, a cold look appeared on Uchiha Obito Uzumaki's cheeks under the mask. At the same time, Odonan village, a gloomy cold laboratory under the ground in the central area. Orochimaru-sama, is this body okay? Looking at Orochimaru, who has changed a woman's body, Yakushi Kabuto said cautiously. Okay. Advertisement. Orochimaru slowly stood up from the container, revealing his naked body, licked his lips, and said, this body fits very well with my soul, and it can display my full strength. Single quote. That's good. With a smile on Yakushi Kabuto's face, he handed Orochimaru the clothes he had already prepared, and said softly, it seemed to be a success. Haha, this is just the beginning. Orochimaru took the clothes and draped them very casually, saying coldly that living corpse reincarnation has too many side effects, and it is easy to damage the soul of the operator. When it comes to this, Orochimaru thought of the scene where he was killed by Mangekyo Sharingan of Uchiha Itachi, and added that my most suitable container is actually Uchiha Itachi. That's it. Yakushi Kabuto looked stunned, and he was wise to stop saying anything. Forget it, I quit the Akatsuki organization, and now I will study the impure world reincarnation. At the next moment, Orochimaru has a wicked smile on his face, self-belief, and Daji touches the immortal's impure world reincarnation with very high purity. Summoning's first generation, second generation and third generation can all perform extremely strength, it seems that I have to be good. Study it, eat. The voice hasn't finished yet. Accompanied by a swirling wave of space. I saw a masked man wearing a Uzumaki-shaped orange mask. Chiba Obito appeared in the laboratory. Who is it? Facing the sudden appearance of Uchiha Obito, Yakushi Kabuto reacted first, shaking his body, holding kunai in his hand, and entered a state of battle. Interesting. Advertisement. As for Orochimaru, it is relatively calm, just squinted, I'm here to look for your cooperation. Masked man Uchiha Obito said blankly, since you have retired from Akatsuki, you should be short of new partners, right? Cooperation. A wicked smile appeared on Orochimaru's pretty face, that's right. Noodle 293 male Uchiha Obito glanced at Orochimaru, who had become a woman, and said slowly, I know you are looking for immortality, so I have a way to make you immortal. Single quote. Instead of making yourself male and female, is it true? Orochimaru was not angry either, but rather said with interest, as long as you have a way to live forever, then we can cooperate deeply. Okay. After listening to this sentence, the masked man Uchiha Obito didn't hesitate, he threw out a seal scroll, said, this is a meeting ceremony, all you have to do is to study impure world reincarnation. Sneer. After saying this, a strange spatial fluctuation occurs. Masked man Uchiha Obito disappeared under Yakushi Kabuto's puzzled eyes. Go, unwind the scroll after Uchiha Obito leaves. Orochimaru gestured to Yakushi Kabuto with a fluctuating expression. After a few seconds of pouting, when the seal scroll was unwound, it was the corpse of White Zetsu. Chapter 109. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 110 The ambition to change the ninja world, one more kneel for subscription. For Akatsuki to attack Konoha village, the masked man Uchiha Obito has already cooperated with Orochimaru. Of course Uchiha Ryujin didn't know, but even if he knew, Uchiha Ryujin will not take it to heart. Just as Akatsuki believes that the development of Konoha village has threatened them, along with the development of Konoha village, what are the four great ninja villages and what Akatsuki organization will become the biggest stumbling block on the road to success for Uchiha Ryujin? Konoha 56 years. After first Hokage's extensive tree planting and afforestation, the development of the entire fire country is also on the right track, especially with the support of a series of policies and guidelines of the god of ninja Uchiha Ryujin. Konoha village has rarely entered a period of rapid development. Perhaps due to the power of 5th Hokage. After signing a series of unequal treaties, Sunagakure, Iwagakure, Cloud Shinobi Village, and Kurigakure have all entered a dormant state. Ever since, in this situation, Konoha village's popularity in the ninja world is no different for a while, and its comprehensive strength has been continuously enhanced at a speed visible to the naked eye. Within Konoha village, the development of major families, the young generation of ninjas, has also entered a development period in which 100 schools of thought contend. Konoha village, Hokage office. Uchiha Ryujin is sitting there with his brows furrowed. In the past few days, for the development of Konoha village, he has been very broken. To be fair. Advertisement. He is not a qualified Hokage. In addition to being strong, he is very disinterested in many political things. But, now that he has taken the position of Hokage, he at least does something, just like Sage of Six Paths. Even if I died, there are still various legends of Sage of Six Paths circulating in the ninja world, saying that he is the founder of ninja sect, and he is honored as the ancestor of ninja and the god of ninja. Ninja is still fighting in the Otsutsuki clan after all. I don't know how long it took. Uchiha Ryujin took a cup of hot tea and murmured to himself that in order to break the Otsutsuki clan's monopoly on the ninja world, a new school of cultivation must be developed, not just chakra. More importantly, chakra is not safe, and will eventually be recycled by the sacred tree. The ninja is equivalent to the furnace. When I think of this, Uchiha Ryujin put down the teacup with a fluctuating expression, and immediately fell into entanglement. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Currently, through many years of signing in, his strength is constantly getting stronger, and he has grown to the point where he is invincible under the 6 levels, but this is far from enough. At least, he has to reach the 6 levels before he is qualified to be a player on the chessboard. Chess player. Of course, Uchiha Ryujin has another ambition. That is the complete subversion of the ninja world established by Sage of Six Paths, and the subversion of the repressive and authoritarian nature of the Otsutsuki clan towards the ninja world. As long as it can overwhelm the world of ninja. Advertisement. So, no matter how awesome you are, Otsutsuki Kagaya, Daijin Tsuki Yumura, Otsutsuki Peach style, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Otsutsuki Ura style, you must kneel down on lousy rules. A single spark can start a prairie fire. Since I am 5th Hokage, then Konoha village can be my experiment. After a while, Uchiha Ryujin's eyes must be certain, and finally he made a decision. There is nothing to say, the plot has been completely disrupted now. He has not only become the newly promoted ninja god, but also sits on the 5th Hokage position. Therefore, play a big game, and at the same time as the sign-in becomes stronger, see if you can completely change the ninja world. System, I want to take a look at my latest attribute panel. The next moment, Uchiha Ryujin took a deep breath and ordered silently. Ding. The latest attribute panel of host is being generated. Ding. The attribute panel has been generated. Host. Uchiha Ryujin. Age. 20 years old. Resident sign in area. Ninja world. Valuable rewards obtained by accumulative check-in. One of the 4 Emperor's Whitebeard template, unlocked 100%, Marine 6 styles proficient, Fire style powerful fire extinguishment. Multiple shadow clone techniques. Armament Haki, top level, Conqueror's Haki, top level, Senju Hashirama's Sage Body, Fusion, Kongyan Cut. One of the 12 skills of the Supreme Knife. 8 trigrams Palms Revolving Heaven, need to be forced. Chakra Mode. 1000 Birds. Rasengan. No Seal Healing, Sealing Technique Ghoul Sealing, Wuxi Dalian Ball Technique, Moon Breathing Method, Sun Breathing Method, Water, Thunder, Inflammation. 5 basic genres of breathing methods such as rock and wind. Next check-in location. Rain Shinobi Village. Not activated, check-in time. 1 minute. Note. Sign in at the sign-in location refreshed by the system, and you can get rich rewards. After the 10-year sign-in period of Konoha village expired, in order to make it easier to sign in at different places throughout the ninja world, Uchiha Ryujin set the permanent sign-in location to the ninja world. Advertisement. As for why Rain Shinobi Village is not activated. In systemic terms, Rain Shinobi Village is not yet under Uchiha Ryujin's rule. Currently, I can develop 2 training systems, one is based on Conqueror's Haki, obtained, and the other is full concentration breathing method. After a few seconds, Uchiha Ryujin quickly scanned his attribute panel and nodded thoughtfully. Conqueror's Haki belongs to One Piece, and the law of full concentration breathing is a combat support method in the Blade of Demon Slayer. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages. For a long time, even though Uchiha Ryujin learned the full concentration breathing method, he didn't use it much. Because, for him now, the full concentration breathing method has little effect. Of course, it's useless for him, doesn't mean it's useless for others. If Konoha village can have 2 more different training systems, it will definitely detonate the entire ninja world. Benevolence. Chapter 110. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 111 Konoha Tailed Beast Plundering Plan, 2 more kneels for subscription. It seems that I will be busy in the future. Now that he has some ideas to change the ninja world, Uchiha Ryujin has also relaxed a lot. After stretching his waist, he said to himself, I hope the ninja world will become more and more interesting, otherwise it will be too boring. Bang. Suddenly, at this moment, a knock on the door sounded. Lord 5th Hokage, all the shinobi villages in the shinobi world have signed the Konoha Treaty, and they are willing to cooperate with our Konoha village, but Rain Shinobi village simply refuses. Tsunade, one of the 3 ninjas, rushed into the office. Don't you want to? After hearing this sentence, Uchiha Ryujin frowned unconsciously. But, he was relieved when he thought about the status quo of Rain Shinobi village, the country of rain. The Rain Shinobi village at this stage is the base camp of Akatsuki. If the Konoha Treaty can be signed, then there will be ghosts. As for Tsunade, his current status is not only one of the 3 ninjas, but also his appointed Naruto assistant, who is responsible for some external work. More than unwilling, Tsunade looked cold, clenched his fist, and gritted his silver teeth, adding that Nagato, the leader of Rain Shinobi village, also killed our ninja in Konoha village. Ha ha, then let me know and declare war on the country of rain. Upon hearing this sentence, Uchiha Ryujin didn't want to say 900 more. He watched. Glancing at Tsunade, he coldly ordered, if we don't sign the Konoha Treaty, and kill our people, then we should pay the price. Of course. Advertisement. Uchiha Ryujin didn't say one more thing, that is. He is worried about how to sign into Rain Shinobi village. In the end, didn't the reason come? Rain Shinobi village was declared war by Konoha village because it was disobedient. As for the Akatsuki organization, it was over if it was destroyed. What? Now is the war. Tsunade has some hate. When is it so random to start a war against a shinobu village? This kind of randomness is like she was expelled from work because of the small question which foot entered the door first. And she can remember that when third Hokage was in power, let alone the war, even if other shinobu village shit on the BJFB, skull of Konoha village, Mr. Sarutobi would have to follow it up. Yes. Uchiha Ryujin indifferently agitated his mouth, whispered, boring anyway, and went to a battle with Rain Shinobi village. Single quote. It is good. Tsunade hesitated for a moment, and nodded in disbelief. He could only silently mourn Rain Shinobi village from the bottom of his heart. Meeting 5th Hokage would be bad luck for you. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Wait a minute. The next moment, just as Tsunade wanted to convey an order, Uchiha Ryujin's observation Haki seems to perceive something, very surprised. In other words, there is no need to declare war on Rain Shinobi village, the people of Akatsuki actually came to Konoha village. Single quote. Akatsuki. Tsunade thought for a moment, and subconsciously said, is that the mercenary organization in the Rain country? Advertisement. No, the current Akatsuki organization should be an evil organization composed of S-rank rebels from various countries. Uchiha Ryujin put his hands on the table and said in a somewhat unbelievable way. It stands to reason that the current Akatsuki organization should still be in the dormant period, and dare to do anything to us in Konoha village. Single quote. Did it come for 3 tails, 5 tails, 8 tails, 9 tails? I thought of it here. Uchiha Ryujin's cheeks showed a sudden enlightenment. Compared to the original Konoha village, he has 4 of the 9-tailed beasts. If Akatsuki is determined to take action, it is still very possible. In addition, Nagato has always wanted to make Konoha village a bag of rice against a few floors, feel the pain, and that makes sense. But, anyhow, he is also known as the god of ninja world. Is it really appropriate for Akatsuki to slap him in the face like this? Is it for the tail beast? Tsunade shook his head inexplicably. She couldn't figure out what's good about the tail beast. Didn't see 3 tails, 5 tails, 8 tails just like a cat lying in Konoha village. Do you give Konoha village a guard? Akatsuki wants to use the tail beast to make the tail beast weapon to conquer the world. Uchiha Ryujin slowly got up, a ray of coldness flashed in his eyes, and said lightly, originally planned to go to Rain Shinobi village to clean up you, now that they are all here. Then I'll stay in Konoha village. At the same moment, within a mysterious underground cave in the land of fire, the distance is enough. I don't know how long it has passed, Nagato said blankly, let's stay here. Okay. Konan nodded with a cold face, thought for a moment, and couldn't help but said, 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is very strong, I don't think we should act rashly. Advertisement. Time is running out. Nagato shook his head very firmly, moved a few times with mechanical assistance, and said in a deep voice. I now have a complete grasp of Rinnegan and can fight against Uchiha Ryujin. Once Uchiha Ryujin becomes stronger, I will be powerless. When talking about this, Nagato has some helplessness. Originally, according to his development plan, Akatsuki had to stay in the dark for several years, secretly gathering a lot of money to prepare for the future, but Konoha village unexpectedly produced such a monster, which instantly disrupted the development of Akatsuki. I know that the organization can only implement the Konoha-tailed beast plundering plan in advance. Alas, after hearing this sentence, Konan glanced at Nagato, who had basically lost the ability to walk, and sighed. She knows very well that now Nagato lives without humans and ghosts, just to complete Yahiko's topic selection and achieve peace in the ninja world. If Nagato is blocked, she didn't know if Nagato had any motivation to survive. Don't worry, I don't expect to defeat Uchiha Ryujin. As long as I can earn 3 tails, 5 tails, and 8 tails, it will be a success. Nagato thought for a while before he believed, I should be able to hold Uchiha Ryujin. Single quote. Can. Konan took a deep breath and said solemnly, the members of the Akatsuki organization are already in place. It is good. An astonishing pot force erupted in Nagato's Rinnegan, hands clasped together, and the whole body of chakra surged, muttering to himself, the rise of Akatsuki started with the Konoha-tailed raid plan. Chapter 111. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 112 Konoha Village. Feel the pain, 3 watchers kneel for subscription. At this moment, to the east, west, and north of Konoha village, where 3 tails, 5 tails, and 8 tails stay, I don't know when. There have been several men wearing hats and red cloud robes with black backgrounds. Among them, Hidan and Kakuzu are in charge of 3 tails, Loquat Ten-chan and Shiwa Itachi are in charge of 5 tails, Hoshigaki Kisame, and Deidara, who are responsible its 8 tails. Maybe it's because of the fear of throwing grass and scaring snakes. At this time, Hidan, Kakuzu, Loquat Juzo and others did not reveal any of their aura, just like an ordinary person. This is Three Tails. Lie here, don't you just run. To the east of Konoha village, Hidan and Kakuzu hide behind a big tree, looking at Three Tails lying sleeping in the artificial lake, and looking at each other, they can see each other's surprise in their eyes. When did the tail have been so obedient? It was incredible. On the other side, to the west of Konoha village. Touch, I'll rely on your Wanwa Jane Sharingan. Perceiving Five Tails' motionless eyes closed, Loquat Shazang grinned, and said with a chuckle. Yes. Uchiha Itachi nodded indifferently, after 2 years. Returning to Konoha village again, Uchiha's heart is very complicated, especially seeing the Uchiha family getting better and better, and Uchiha Sasuke who seems to have forgotten him. Uchiha Itachi feels uncomfortable and wants to cry. Regret it. It must be very regretful, but he chose the road, so what? He could only swallow into his own heart when he broke his teeth. As for the will of fire. After 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed, it was a big joke. Advertisement. On the north side of Konoha village, 8 Tails, which has been reduced in size, has a lot of alcohol. While lying on the ground looking at the intimate paradise in his hands, he ate snacks. After Killer Bee died, 8 Tails was still sad for a long time, but, faced the test of Konoha village's sugar-coated cannonball and Uchiha Ryujin's fist, it finally succumbed. No way. Which tail beast can withstand such a test? As a result, these days, 8 Tails has started its own old age life. You can enjoy this 8 Tails. Sasori, who was hiding not far away, made a surprised sound as he watched 8 Tails eating snacks happily. Whatever. Hoshigaki Kisame grinned, showing sharp teeth, and said, 8 Tails chakra made my Samahata a little bit hungry and thirsty. Single quote. Art is explosion. Deidara pouted her mouth and said with a little excitement, I will give 8 Tails a big explosion gift bag later. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Deidara, art is eternal beauty, it is not an explosion. What are you talking about? All right. The next moment, just as Sasori and Deidara were about to quarrel again, Hoshigaki Kisame shook his head with a headache, hurriedly interrupted the conversation between the two, and said cautiously, now we are on the mission, go back and quarrel. Humph. Upon hearing these words, Sasori and Deidara each gave a cold snort, and wisely said nothing more. Go back and argue about art or something. It is still important to complete the task assigned by the leader well. At the same moment, Konoha's midair. I don't know when a man with red hair and Rinnegan's eyes floated there. Advertisement. No doubt. This is the god Pain in the 6 Ways of Favor, Konoha village. Looking down at the prosperous Konoha village below, Tiandao Pain showed a rare tinge of pain. When he saw Konoha village, Nagato thought of his parents who died in the war, his good friend Yahiko, and countless civilians in Rain Shinobi village. Yahiko. A few seconds later, Tiandao Pain muttered to himself in pain, that your vain attempt to change the country and build a bridge of hope to world peace through interpersonal communication will not work. Single quote. I want the ninja world to breed peace in the pain. Mouth. After these words, a horrible tone unabashedly enveloped the entire Konoha village. Ask for flowers. Accompanied by this terrifying pupil power, mold time. The entire Konoha village stagnated. Many civilians simply felt that their breathing was a little uncomfortable, but countless Konoha shinobi suddenly raised their heads. There is a man in the sky. What does he want to do? How terrible is this amazing fluctuation in irrigation power? After a few seconds, countless Konoha shinobi, looking at Tiandao Pen in midair, all showed extremely shocked expressions. Advertisement. And people such as Kakashi, Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi, Might Guy, and Jiraiya, who has not left Konoha village, changed their expressions, but they took action in an instant. Unfortunately, Tiandao Pain didn't give the Konoha village ninja time to react, and slowly stretched out his right hand. He wanted to take advantage of the chaos to destroy Konoha village and create unprecedented chaos, so that the ninjas of Akatsuki could take action and capture 3 Tails, 5 Tails, and 8 Tails. Konoha village. A bag of rice can resist a few floors, feel the pain, Shinra Tianjung. Boom. With the frantic surge of Rinnegan's barriers, the air burst directly, and an invisible repulsive shock wave visible to the naked eye appeared, bombarding the entire Konoha village, as if to completely destroy Konoha village. Ruined. Perceiving the shock wave of repulsive force like death coming, the countless ninjas in Konoha village have a look of despair on their cheeks. Perhaps they never thought that someone would dare to attack Konoha village where the god of ninja sits. Roll. However, just at the very moment, the countless Konoha shinobi in Konoha village saw a scene that was unforgettable in their lives. Accompanied by a rebuke, I saw a man wearing a Hokage royal robe, appeared in the midair of Konoha at an extremely fast speed, and slammed his fist. Chapter 112. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 113 Rinnegan. That's it. 4 more kneels for subscription. Mouth. The shocking power of the fluorescent white roared out, licking. This is the sound of the air bursting. Immediately afterwards, a force that shook the sky and the earth struck the repulsive shock wave of Shenluo Tianzhong at a speed that could not cover the ears. Rumble. Accompanied by a thunderous roar. Under the eyes of everyone, the repulsive shock wave played by Shenluo Tianzhong appeared strangely visible cracks, and finally, it exploded in the sky above Konoha village. Looking at this terrifying scene, in an instant, the civilians and ninjas of Konoha village are all stuck in a sluggish state. Even some Jonin and even the elite Jonin stand stiffly in place. 7 or 87 because, just now, facing the attack of mysterious people, they all had the illusion that Konoha village was about to be destroyed. Fortunately, 5th Hokage appeared in time and broke everything. Call. Great. Lord 5th Hokage appeared. Fortunately, Lord 5th Hokage. Soon, after the initial shock, many civilians were relieved. At the same time of the atmosphere, he began to walk to the air raid shelter in a rhythmic manner. As for the ninjas in Konoha village, they are all in a state of combat. How is it possible? This is Yahiko. At this time, Jiraiya, one of the 3 ninjas, who just came out of a bathhouse, looked at the familiar figure in the air, and stood there in a daze, with a huge wave in his heart. Advertisement. How is it possible? Yahiko. It is Yahiko. Although Yahiko has grown up now. But, Jiraiya still saw the man in midair at a glance. He was one of the 3 apprentices he received in Rain Shinobi village at the end of the Second Ninja War. Going to start. As long as we can create chaos in Konoha village, we can take action. 5th Hokage appears, it's all up to you, boss. Looking at Tendo Pain, Hidan, Kakuzu, Uchiha Itachi, Loquat plus Tibet, Hoshigaki Kisame and others in midair, they all subconsciously entered a state of battle. They know very well that the moment Konoha village is destroyed is the best time for them to show their skills. Heaven Pain, you are really bold. At this time, Uchiha Ryujin in midair loosened his fist, a ray of chill flashed in his eyes, and said coldly, did you come to Konoha village to die? Ha ha. Tiandao Pain looked at Uchiha Ryujin expressionlessly, stretched out his hands, and said faintly, only by feeling pain can peace be bred. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Super Shinra Tianzhong. Boom. In the next moment, another shock wave of repulsive force that is usually several times more terrifying than just before roared out, setting off an amazing wave of air, and bombarding Konoha village. Okay. Then you can be blown up. Zibo Ryujin's gaze was cold, and he didn't bother to say so much. With a grip of his right hand, he held Kong Yunchi in his hand. Amidst the need for power and the surge of armed sex, he was kind. With a wave. Laugh. Advertisement. A sound of air bursting sounded, and the shocking force of fluorescent white swept out with a sword energy of several hundred meters, and hit the repulsive shock wave fiercely. Rumble. The roar of an explosion resounded, and only persisted for less than a second, and the shock wave of repulsive force played by Chao Shenluo Tianzhong was suddenly divided into 2 halves from the middle. And at the moment of splitting into 2 halves, the shocking force attached to the sword aura began to explode crazily, and in the end, with a force of destruction, it fiercely bombarded the repulsive shock wave, and abruptly collapsed the repulsive shock wave. How can it be? Heavenly Dao Pain witnessed his own Super Shinra Tianzhong being defeated by a single blow. It seemed a bit unacceptable. You know, this is Super Shinra Tianzhong. It is already one of Rinnegan's core abilities, and it can also burst out the power of destroying the sky and the earth. Not to mention destroying a Konoha village, even if it is destroying 10 Konoha villages, it is a breeze. The results of it was destroyed just like this. Nothing is impossible, even if you have the legendary Rinnegan, you are too weak. For the weak, there is no need to talk about peace. Huh. A sound of breaking through the air sounded. Uchiha Ryujin appeared right in front of Tiandao Pen with a flash of his body, and gave a sharp bombardment. Super Shinra Tianzhong. Unfortunately, I haven't finished speaking yet. Tiandao Pain saw Uchiha Ryujin's fist carrying a white halo, bombarding himself. Why? Perceiving his body that was about to burst, Tiandao Pain glanced at Uchiha Ryujin, who had already opened Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and seemed to understand something. Advertisement. Hard. A clear voice sounded. Tiandao Pain's body was shaken to dust by Uchiha Ryujin's fist. Inside that mysterious underground cave in the country of fire, puff. Nagato, who was controlling Tiandao Pain, spit out a big mouthful of blood, and immediately seemed to be discouraged. Nagato quickly aged a few years old. Nagato, are you okay? Seeing this scene, Conan showed a hint of worry, and asked, is there something wrong with Tiandao Pain 2, 3? Impossible. Why is it so? Facing Conan's question, Nagato seemed unheard of, and fell into a state of madness. He couldn't figure it out. How could this be? With the eyes of Sage of Six Paths Rinnegan, he thought he was awesome. What happened? Faced with Uchiha Ryujin, he was blown up in less than 2 rounds. This is no longer a question of not being able to beat the chlorine, but being completely crushed. Influenced by Nagato's self-confidence has been severely wounded. This. Conan seemed to have thought of something too, and fell silent for a moment, not knowing what to say. Chapter 113. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 114. The Broken Akatsuki Organization member, 5 Zheng Guicho for subscription. This. Conan was silent too, not knowing what to say. She knows very well that Nagato is very confident about her Rinnegan, especially after learning to master Rinnegan, her self-confidence has expanded to the extreme. Otherwise, I don't even know that 5th Hokage is known as the god of the ninja world, and he will also execute the Konoha-tailed beast plundering plan. Now it seems that everything is miscalculated. 5th Hokage Zjibo Ryujin's strength is stronger than they thought. Wait a moment and think about it. Conan frowned. You know. Are the members of Akatsuki still in Konoha village? Now that Tiandao Pain is dead, and the plan basically failed, then we can only hope that they can be smarter and escape Konoha village by themselves. It's a little far away. Chakra can't supply it, and the damn eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At this time, Nagato also suppressed his inner anger, gritted his teeth and roared, Uchiha Ryujin, you wait for me. 19 Looking at Nagato who was incompetent and furious, Conan sighed. I don't know what to say. Somehow, she felt that the current Nagato had become very unfamiliar, as if she had been affected by the weird Rinnegan. The other side. At the moment when Tiandao Pain was blown up, there was no sign. Advertisement. The entire Konoha village is in silence. Rinnegan, this is it. Countless civilians and ninjas, looking at the arrogant Tiandao Pain, was simply and cleanly blown up by 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin, and an idea came to mind unconsciously. No way. It's true that Tiandao Pain was too deceptive. To open your mouth and shut your mouth is to destroy Konoha village and to breed peace in pain. It seems that I am a god in the legend. The results of it. Konoha village was not destroyed. On the contrary, he himself was blown up with no resistance, pretending to be a fool. It's really too weak. In midair, Uchiha Ryujin looked at Tiandao Pain who was blown up, and some speechless shook his head. Special. Nagato really had a pair of Rinnegan for nothing. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Doing things is also timid, and the body dare not appear in Konoha village. However, the members of Akatsuki are still in Konoha village. The next moment, Uchiha Ryujin's observation Haki quickly sensed it and murmured to himself, this time, I will make you lose your wife and break down. At the same time, the leader was blown up alive. The strength of this 5th Hokage is simply terrifying. Retreat and leave Konoha village at a speed. The leader is blown up, which means that the Konoha-tailed beast plunder plan has failed. Almost in an instant, Hidan, Kakuzu, Uchiha Rong, Loquat Juzo, Sasori, Deidara, Hoshigaki Kisame reacted, and at the same time I was shocked. I wanted to leave Konoha village quickly. Unfortunately, everything is too late. Where to run? 3 Tails, who had not been moving, seemed to wake up suddenly stood up from the artificial lake, and looked at the hiding place of Hidan and Kakuzu. Advertisement. Not good. Has it been discovered by 3 Tails long ago? Hidan and Kakuzu looked at each other and wanted to leave. Then, 2 breaking sounds sounded. Might Guy and Kakashi appeared behind them. Since you 2 guys are here, don't rush away. Kakashi took out the kunai in his hand and said coldly. Youth is passionate. Might Guy posed a pause, revealed his big white teeth, yelled, let's start a battle between men. Fighting. Have fun with them. Faced with the predicament of the tailed beast in front and the Konoha shinobi behind, Hidan and Kakuzu frowned, and they also entered a state of battle indiscriminately. To the west of Konoha village, Uchiha Itachi and Loquat Juzo also noticed something wrong, but at the moment 5 Tails wanted to make a move. Sharingan of Uchiha Itachi entered Mangekyo Sharingan mode, and before 5 Tails hadn't reacted, it controlled it. Go. After taking control of 5 Tails, Uchiha took a deep look at Konoha village and wanted to leave. Itachi, do you still want to leave? With a familiar voice. I saw Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi, and Narakajiu appearing not far behind. Father. Uchiha Itachi turned his head tremblingly. He stood there in a daze, opened his mouth, trying to say anything but didn't say anything. Advertisement. Why do you bother? Looking at Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help sighing sound, said, surrender. I will plead with Lord 5th Hokage and spare your life. It's late, everything is late. Uchiha Eel took a deep breath of 413, and said with a blank expression. I am no longer from the Uchiha clan, nor from Konoha village. I am from the Akatsuki organization. It is good. Uchiha Fugaku nodded indifferently. Uchiha Song took out kunai, and when he looked cold, he entered a fighting state, damn it. Loquat Shazang said in a little panic, Zebo Itachi, fight with them and cover me. Where to go? Seeing the Loquat Ten-chan is going to go. Hyuga Hiyashi appeared in front of Loquat Juzo in a flash, and said coldly, since he is here, don't want to leave. Are you looking for death? Knowing that he could not go, Loquat Shazang gritted his teeth, smiled coldly, and drew out the beheading knife behind him. And to the north of Konoha village, Eight Tails, Tsunade, Jiraiya have already confronted Hoshigaki Kisame, Sasori, Deidara. It is clear. At this time, Hoshigaki Kisame, Jia, Deidara looks extremely ugly, they are overcast. It was still overshadowed by the ninjas of Eight Tails and Konoha village. Chapter 114. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 115 Hunting Moment, 1 more kneels for subscription. The situation reversed instantly. Maybe even Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, Loquat Juzo, Kakuzu and others didn't think of it. After the leader Tiandao Pain was devastated by 5th Hokage, there will be such serious consequences. Now let alone the implementation of the Konoha tailed beast plundering plan, even escape is a problem. The moment of action begins. In midair, Uchiha Ryujin looked down at Hoshigaki Kisame Kakuzu, Hidan, Uchiha Itachi and others who had been pinned down, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curve. Now that they are all here, let them all die in Konoha village. A sound of breaking through the air rang out. Uchiha Ryujin flew towards the place where Hidan and Kakuzu were. To the east of Konoha village. Kakashi and Might Guy have already fought Hidan and Kakuzu together. As for Three Tails, they are observing secretly in an artificial lake, seeming to be waiting for an opportunity. Research. One after another roars resounded. I saw that Might Guy and Hidan, who opened the 5th gate, had the purest physical fight, and they fought dozens of times in an instant. Boom. Accompanied by a bursting sound. Advertisement. Hidan couldn't dodge, but Might Guy fisted and flew out with a weapon, and hit the ground not far away. The powerful shock wave even made the ground neck shake a few times. Is this guy a monster? However, after flying Hidan with a punch, Might Guy's expression was extremely solemn, and he didn't mean to relax at all. Ha ha ha, I have an immortal body, no matter what kind of injury I will not die. Single quote. Right in front, Hidan carried his bloody march inlay, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, got up from the ground, laughed, and said wickedly, such a powerful body, Lord Cthulhu will definitely like I. After saying this, Hidan also moved his body a little. Is it immortal? Looking at Hidan, who showed no signs of injury, Might Guy must have his eyes clenched subconsciously. What do you think this is? But at this moment, Hidan grinned savagely, and pointed his finger at the bloody march sickle, where there was a very strange drop of blood. Is this? Might Guy froze. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He immediately glanced at an imperceptible small wound on his arm. He remembered that when he was fighting Hidan just now, his arm seemed to have been scratched by the bloody march. Because the wound was relatively small, he didn't care about it. I said, Lord Cthulhu will like you. Hidan smiled crazily, and then under Might Guy's incredible eyes, began to lick the blood on the bloody march front, as if thinking that he was going to succeed. There was a hint of excitement in his eyes. Damn, how come there is an unknown premonition? And for the first time facing such a strange opponent, Might Guy's look was a little ugly, and his heart was a little uneasy. He gritted his teeth and decided to continue attacking Hidan. Advertisement. Loud. However, next instantly, just when Hidan, who licked Might Guy's blood, wanted to cast a spell, somehow a faint color appeared in Hidan's eyes, and then there was a sound of breaking through the air. Before Hidan could react, his head and body branched out. Is it immortal? Uchiha Ryujin held Hidan's head and said lightly, you said I put your body in the cesspit and your head in the stinky water ditch, isn't it fun? Let go of me, Lord Cthulhu will not let you go. Being held in public by someone's head. Especially when I heard Uchiha Ryujin's vicious words. Hidan's heart was a little panicked, and he could only pretend to be very calm and roar, 5th Hokage, Cthulhu will definitely kill you. This guy can spell. Ignoring Hidan who was incompetent and furious, Uchiha Ryujin lightly pointed. With a smile, after getting your blood, I will draw a circle to curse you. Take it and finish saying this sentence. Uchiha Ryujin dropped Hidan's head casually. Might Guy, anyway, Hidan does not have the ability to regenerate or repair broken limbs. After the head and body branch house, as long as they are not together, they are basically useless. Hidan was solved like this. At this time, Might Guy has some regrets, even with Hidan's head in his hand, he has an unreal feeling. I damn, Cthulhu will take care of you. Advertisement. I have an immortal body and will not be killed. One day, I will sacrifice all of you. It seems to dislike Hidan for being too noisy. Might Guy showed his big white teeth a little bit evilly, took a section of the tree trunk and slammed it into Hidan's mouth, making Hidan only humming. Hidan. Seeing that Hidan was easily solved, Kakuzu, who was wearing a black mask and a pair of green eyes, was shocked in his heart, and his expression suddenly became ugly. Your opponent is me. Facing some distracted Kakuzu, the chakra in Kakashi's whole body surged, his hands quickly formed a seal, fire-style head worked hard. Kakashi, you go to hell. Seeing that Kakashi copied the ninjutsu he had just performed, 5th generation, to get the money, and Hokage looked at him again, Kakuzu gritted his teeth, and his heart suddenly felt. I was angry, and 5 chakra fluctuations with completely different attributes burst out suddenly. The soil is forced. The soil spear. The wind is suitable. The pressure is good. Fire style head hard. Thunder forged false dark. Water style water curtain tent. In the next instant, without any warning, 4 masked monsters emerged from Kakuzu's body. Together with Kakuzu's body, they directly used Kakashi with 5 different types of ninjutsu. Damn, you have to use Mangekyo Sharingan. Seeing that he was about to be swallowed by 5 violent ninjutsu, Hitaki Kakashi looked a little ugly, but he still gritted his teeth and motivated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Coincidence. Chapter 115. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 116. You are too weak. Unfortunately, the next moment. Just when Kakashi was about to use Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Ryujin, wearing a Hokage royal robe, blocked him in front of him with a flash. In the terrifying chakra storm, his hands were slapped 5 times in a row. Wind channel, pressure, fire wine, hard head, thunder forged, fake as dark, earth style earth spear, water suitable and water curtain tent. It took time, and 5 identical ninjutsu was performed by Zizia Ryujin, and they collided with the 5 ninjutsu performed by Kakuzu at a lightning speed. Boom. A deafening roar resounded. 5 kinds of ninjutsu with completely different attributes continuously generate fierce collision shock waves, sweeping out in all directions. Then, under Kakuzu's dumbfounded gaze, his 5 distinctly different ninjutsu techniques were alive and well defeated. Call. Seeing that Kakuzu's ninjutsu was stained, Kakashi's expression relaxed, and finally couldn't help taking a few big breaths. There is no way, facing Kakuzu with such a weird ability, even he feels great pressure. 047 How is it possible? At this time, a strange color flashed in Kakuzu's eyes, nothing impossible. Uchiha Ryujin took a few steps forward, glanced at Kakuzu, and whispered, after living for so many years, you too should die. Humph. Advertisement. Kakuzu snorted coldly and said, 5th Hokage, your strength is indeed very strong, but I am an immortal existence. When talking about this, Kakuzu also added something by himself. During the Sengoku period, I had assassinated 1st Hokage. Oh, seeing Kakuzu, who can blow a lifetime by assassinating 1st Hokage, Uchiha Ryujin shook his head lightly. As for why Kakuzu cannot die, of course, it is because of the secret technique and ground grievance. By using chakra to manipulate the black tentacles released from the body, it can seize the heart of others. Go to hell. Seeing the disdainful look of Zizia Ryujin, Kakuzu's expression became cold, his hands quickly formed seals, and the 3 grieving masks of wind, fire, and thunder gathered on his right kidney, continuously accumulating energy. Grievance final shot. Finally, when the amount is almost there. The wind, fire, and thunder blamed the skin mask monsters at Uchiha Ryujin and fired a bunch of terrifying chakra cannons. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Forget it, you can die too. Facing the attack of the chakra cannon, Uchiha Ryujin was not afraid, and walked a few steps forward, clenched his fist, and blasted forward. Boom. After a second, the terrifying chakra cannon was exploded with a blunt fist, making it Shua. In the blasting room. Accompanied by the chakra fluctuations of ordinary pound phosphorus, Ryujin's body has already turned into an afterimage. Okay. At the moment Uchiha Ryujin disappeared. Advertisement. Kakuzu's look suddenly changed. He knew that Uchiha Ryujin was very strong, but the speed was still so fast, he really didn't expect it. However, what Kakuzu didn't know was that Uchiha Ryujin started his career by physical skills. The speed is very normal. It can only be said that other abilities are too strong, which makes Uchiha Ryujin's speed unfamiliar. Don't be afraid, I have 5 cardiodomines, and I can't be killed in a second. Kakuzu's spirit is extremely tense, and his heart secretly made a decision. As soon as Uchiha Ryujin shows up, he will trap Uchiha Ryujin with a ground grievance, and then come to a Jedi counterattack. Empty shock. Buzz. Suddenly, accompanied by a cold biej voice. Uchiha Ryujin's body suddenly appeared behind Kakuzu, and the fist entangled by the power of the concussion fruit and armament hockey blasted out at a very fast speed. Click, click. This is the sound of the air bursting, this guy. Perceiving the power fluctuations behind him, Kakuzu's face turned ugly for an instant, he could only turn his head hard, and then Kakuzu saw a scene that made him immortal and desperate. The air burst, and the endless white energy covered this area where he was. The next moment, there was a sudden shock. He saw a ray of cracks visible to the naked eye on his body. Don't do it. Kakuzu panicked completely. Because of the secret technique, the earth and the ground, he was called the person who lived the same life as the heaven and the earth. Therefore, he was not afraid of his opponent hitting his heart. Anyway, he didn't have much else, but he had more hearts. But, now Uchiha Ryujin has made it clear that he wants to blow his body completely, so no matter how much heart there is in the body, what is the use of eggs? Feather. Advertisement. In the next moment, Kakuzu could only control the 5 masked monsters in his body to escape from the body, trying to escape the range of shock. It came out well. The moment the 5 masked monsters appeared, Uchiha Ryujin's eyes brightened, and the power of the shock burst out like a torrent of river water. Monument. In time, the 5 masked monsters of Kakuzu, thunder, wind, fire, earth, and water, were blown up alive by Uchiha Ryujin in no particular order. Poof. At the moment when 5 hearts were blasted, Kakuzu's soul had a violent meal, and a few large mouthfuls of black blood were spit out, and his body fell to the ground as if it had been bitten by grievances. Too weak. Uchiha Ryujin's body appeared silently in front of Kakuzu, shook his head in disdain. You look at 5th Hokage. Kakuzu opened his mouth to say something, but didn't say anything, because the countless black tentacles produced by the grievances had already begun to swallow his body. Maybe Kakuzu didn't even think of it until he died. How did Uchiha Ryujin know that 5 masked monsters were his weakness? Why did he know his abilities so well? You know, he was the man who attacked 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama. Why didn't he have the slightest chance to fight back when facing 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin? Chapter 116. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 117. Stupid father. Kakuzu died like this. Watching 5th Hokage kill Kakuzu like a ruin. Both Kakashi and Might Guy were stunned, with wisps of wonder in their eyes. What else can I say? It's not that Kakuzu and Hidan are too weak, but 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is too strong. Woo. Maybe it was the tragic situation of seeing Kakuzu die. Hidan, who was humming, fell silent, because, compared to Kakuzu's death, he seemed to be okay. At least he was not dead, but his head was held in his hands, nothing more. It's boring. As for Uchiha Ryujin, he spread his hands, showing a helpless look. He actually didn't want to do anything to Akatsuki, but, the people of Akatsuki just wanted to go to Konoha village to give the head away, so he could only do it with reluctance. As for the second killing of Hidan and Kakuzu, that is quite normal. After all, he is now the god of the ninja world, invincible under the 6 realms. Hidan and Kakuzu are at best the peak of the shadow class, the gap is too big. Alright. Buzz. Next moment, just when Uchiha Ryujin wanted to say something. Along with a terrifying chakra wave, in the west of Konoha village, a red complete body Susanoo suddenly appeared, bursting out a terrifying imposing shock wave. Not good. Advertisement. Lord 5th Hokage. Looking at this huge Susanoo, Might Guy and Kakashi, who were still relieved, their expressions changed in unison. You guys take a break first. Uchiha Ryujin gestured to Might Guy and Kakashi, and then, with a flash of his body, he flew towards the west of Konoha village. At the same time, to the west of Konoha village. The battle was already in a one-sided posture. Akatsuki's Loquat Juzo held Hyuga Hiyashi in check. But, Uchiha Itachi defeated both Uchiha Fugaku and Nara Shikahisa by 1-on-2. Yes, you read it right. Both Uchiha Fugaku and Nara Luji have been suppressed by Uchiha Itachi. After more than 2 years of growth, Uchiha Itachi's application of Sharingan has reached a peak. Even Uchiha Fugaku can only be ashamed. More importantly, the side effects of Uchiha Itachi using Mangekyo Sharingan seem to be smaller. Boom, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Another roar of ninjutsu collision resounded. Uchiha Fugaku and Nara Kagyu were beaten back by Uchiha Itachi dozens of steps, and after looking at each other, they could see the incredible colors in their eyes. No way. It is really the strength of Uchiha Song, too powerful. Damn. No way. How can Uchiha Itachi be so tough? Uchiha Fugaku and Nara Deer gritted their teeth for a long time, and still planned to fight back. However, Uchiha Itachi moves faster, reading buzzing month. The next moment. Advertisement. Uchiha Itachi appeared in front of Nara Kagyu in a flash, and Mangekyo Sharingan suddenly exploded with terrifying pupil power. Not good. Nara Lujo's expression changed suddenly, and he was about to urge chakra, but realized that it was too late. After commenting for a second, Nara Shikahisa, who was tortured by illusion in the world of moon reading, showed an expression of extreme pain, and immediately fell to the ground. Luju. Seeing that Nara Luju was killed by an illusion. Uchiha Fugaku had some pale faces that had become paler. He wanted to use his Mangekyo Sharingan very much, but found that his pupil power was no longer enough. If he used it forcibly, he would lose his sight directly. Your stupid father. At this time, Uchiha's emotions seemed to be a bit agitated, and the dark side of his heart began to magnify strangely, and he roared, "Why, I am your son, why are you not on my side? Impossible, you are not Uchiha." After hearing these words, Uchiha Fugaku seemed to perceive something, and said in a deep voice, "Who are you? Why are you clinging to Itachi?" "Haha, I'm Uchiha Itachi." Uchiha Itachi laughed madly, making the lines on her cheeks distorted. "Please flowers 0. Not absolutely." Uchiha Fugaku took a deep breath and murmured to himself, "I know the strength of Itachi, and I definitely cannot use Mangekyo Sharingan unscrupulously like I am now. Oh, my stupid father." Uchiha Itachi smiled coldly. An extremely crazy look appeared on his cheeks. "Let me show you my true strength." Advertisement. The voice hasn't fallen yet. Accompanied by Mangekyo Sharingan's terrifying pupil power fluctuations. A huge red skeleton was shrouded in Uchiha Itachi's body, and then began to be covered with meridians and flesh and blood on the basis of the skeleton, and he was put on Wudiongu armor. In the end, a complete body Susanoo, holding a 10-fist sword in his right hand and a Yata mirror in his left hand, appeared on the scene. And this is just the beginning. I saw Uchiha Itachi and Susanoo put his hands together. In the interweaving of terrifying chakra and natural energy, red patterns appeared on his cheeks, and he entered Sage mode. If someone is inside Susanoo, you will also find a fairy face of Senju Hashirama on Uchiha Itachi's right arm. Boom. There is no sign of fog time. A terrifying fairy technique, chakra, swept from the perfect body Susanoo. How is it possible? So strong, how can it be so strong? Is this the perfect body in Sage mode? Susanoo. Facing the perfect body, Susanoo, like a god. The countless ninjas in Konoha village were stunned. The fighting Hyuga Hiyashi and Loquat Juzo were stunned, and Uchiha Fugaku was stunned. Even in the north of Konoha village, the fighting Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, Jiraiya, Tsunade waiting for people, are all stunned. No way. It's a complete body in Sage mode. Susanoo is so terrible. Whether it is the radiating aura or the horrible chakra fluctuations, it makes the scalp numb for a while, and it seems to be capable of ruining the world. Chapter 117. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 118 Completely destroy Uchiha Itachi. Shock. Absolute shock. Uchiha Itachi doesn't take a shot, it's amazing when he takes it. The complete body in Sage mode Susanoo is simply terrifying. How can it be? Looking at the perfect body Susanoo in Sage mode, Uchiha Fugaku's cheeks were filled with horror after he recovered, just like hell. Uchiha Touch actually Sage mode. Moreover, this Sage mode seems to be similar to Master First Hokage's Sage mode when he was watching the battle between 5th generation and 1st generation. This is a little unbelievable. Fugaku, what's the matter with the song? Dang. After fighting against the Loquat Juzo, Hyuga Hiyashi took dozens of steps back when his body flashed, and his face was difficult to see, and he said, "Does Mangekyo Sharingan have side effects? How can Uchiha Itachi be used so unscrupulously and enter Sage mode?" Do not know. Uchiha Fugaku shook his head in confusion. No way. Now Uchiha Itachi's ability has exceeded his understanding. Uchiha Itachi transplanted cells from first Hokage. With a cold voice, Uchiha Ryujin's body appeared next to Uchiha Fugaku, and the cloud said lightly, "The current Uchiha Itachi body. There is not only the breath of first Hokage, but also the breath of White Zetsu." When talking about this, Uchiha Ryujin also showed a very surprised expression. He didn't expect that Black Zetsu and Uchiha Obito would transplant Uchiha Itachi cells from first generation and White Zetsu, and Uchiha Itachi learned Sage mode. As for why the transplantation of White Zetsu, of course, is to better control the impact on Uchiha Itachi. Advertisement. Transplanted cells from first Hokage. After hearing these words, Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga Hiyashi both showed a sudden realization. No wonder Uchiha Itachi can enter Sage mode. No wonder Uchiha Itachi can use Mangekyo Sharingan for a long time and with high intensity. Is that so? Wait a minute, what is White Zetsu? Is it also a kind of cell? The next moment, Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga Hiyashi shook their heads bitterly, and fell into a state of confusion. Obviously, White Zetsu touched the two of them again. Knowledge blind zone. Ha 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 ha. At this time, the happiest thing was that Loquat Juzo, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, had a big laugh, and said, "Uchiha Itachi, there really is you, so strong." Single quote. Noisy. Hearing these words, Uchiha Ryujin's eyes were cold, and he held the cloud cut in his hand. His body turned into an afterimage in a flash, and he slashed towards the Loquat Juzang. So fast. Loquat Juzang's expression froze all of a sudden, and he picked up the beheading knife and stood in front of him. Clang. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The sound of metal collision sounded. Kong Yunchi and the decapitating broadsword violently collided, and a shocking shock wave erupted. Perhaps Uchiha Ryujin's strength was too great. At the moment of the collision, the ground beneath the feet of the Loquat shattered directly. Ruined. Perceiving the shocked numb arms, Loquat Juzo's heart tightened. Kong Yunchi shock. It's a pity. Uchiha Ryujin did not give Loquat Juzo any chance. I saw Kong Yun cut the sudden emergence of luminous white shocking power, and violently bombarded the blade of the decapitating broadsword. Ever since. Advertisement. After a sound of metal crashing. The decapitating knife actually showed cracks visible to the naked eye. In the end. The decapitated broadsword broke to pieces. However, Kong Yunchi's blade stroked the neck of Loquat Juzo between the electric light and flint. So fast. Facing this series of actions by Uchiha Ryujin, Loquat Juzo seems to have not reacted yet. When he reacted, he already knew that he was bound to die. Boom. This is the sound of Loquat Juzang's head falling to the ground, perhaps to death. The Loquat Juzang didn't even think of it. As one of the 7 ninja swords, his decapitation sword was shattered alive, and even he himself was beheaded with a single sword, and he couldn't die again. 5th Hokage. At this time, when I saw Loquat Juzo was killed, the Uchiha Itachi noodles in Susanoo didn't change his face, and made a cold shout. Do you know how much I hate you? Uchiha Itachi, stop talking nonsense. Upon hearing this, Uchiha Ryujin said unhurriedly, as the scum of the Uchiha clan, Konoha village's S-class wanted criminal, you dare to return to Konoha village. Why can't I go back to Konoha village? When talking about the pain, Uchiha Itachi snarled coldly, if it weren't for you, would I be the same as I am today? Will I be inhuman and ghost? Now even my brother Uchiha Sasuke doesn't recognize me, that's a good thing you did. Boom. Maybe it's a bit emotional. Advertisement. Complete body Susanoo also twisted, the strong force made the ground tremble a few times. Blame me all. The voice didn't fall. Uchiha Ryujin couldn't help but laughed. He did not expect that even now, Uchiha Itachi would still be so obsessed. Obviously, I want to be the 2nd or 5th boy, to be the dog of 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, to destroy my family, and to kill my parents. In the end, are you still blaming others? Originally, Uchiha Ryujin thought that White Zetsu and Uchiha Obito were secretly influencing Uchiha Touch. Now it seems that he was worrying too much. Uchiha Itachi, who was brainwashed by the will of fire, had a problem with his brain, and it would never be washed away. Yes, I blame you. Uchiha Itachi seems to be a little crazy, and he moved his mind to control his complete body. Susanoo clenched his 10-fist sword and said coldly, today, I will kill you, and then I will slaughter the Uchiha clan, will be the stupid father and the stupid mother killed. Stubborn. Faced with Uchiha Itachi, who was already incurable, Uchiha Ryujin shrugged and didn't bother to talk nonsense. In the next moment, accompanied by terrifying pupil power and chakra fluctuations, Uchiha Ryujin's eyes instantly entered the state of Mangekyo Sharingan, and immediately, a blue complete body Susanoo enveloped Uchiha Ryujin's body. Don't talk nonsense. Today, he wants to completely blow Uchiha Itachi. Chapter 118. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 119 Killing Uchiha Itachi. Don't talk nonsense. Today, he wants to completely blow Uchiha Itachi. In other words, just to kill Uchiha Song completely. Originally, Uchiha Itachi escaped on the night of the extermination, which was a pity in Uchiha Ryujin's heart. Now that it is all right, Uchiha Itachi also took the initiative to come to Konoha village and said nothing. Perhaps as in the original work, death is the best destination for Uchiha. After Uchiha Ryujin's complete body Susanoo appeared, there was almost no sign, and a terrifying aura swept out, completely suppressing Uchiha Itachi's aura at a lightning speed. Nowadays, as the god of the ninja world, Uchiha Ryujin's momentum may not even be clear to Uchiha Ryujin himself, but there is no doubt that he is now far more powerful than Whitebeard. What a powerful momentum. Even if Uchiha's Susanoo enters Sage mode, it is not as good as 5th Hokage. Lord 5th Hokage, it's really abnormal. After the blue perfect body Susanoo appeared. Although many ninjas in Konoha village know that 5th Hokage is very strong, but, after once again immersively perceiving the blue body Susanoo's aura, he still exclaimed in exclamation. Let's avoid a little bit. Seeing this scene, Hyuga Hiyashi, who had been nervous all the time, let out a sigh of relief, then helped Narukaju and flew to the side. 19 good. Uchiha Fugaku glanced hard at the red Susanoo, turned around and left. The road was chosen by Uchiha Itachi himself. Then Uchiha Itachi will have to bear the consequences alone. So powerful and majestic. In the red Susanoo, Uchiha Itachi's expression changed slightly. After taking a deep breath, he said coldly, Uchiha Ryujin, let me see your strength. Amaterasu hum. Down in an instant, a horrible pupil power fluctuation spread out. In full view, the red full-body Susanoo's 10-fist sword was covered with black inflammation and the fairy technique chakra, bursting out an astonishing wave of energy. Go to hell. Huh. Dao Po Kong sounded. #+ equals. Advertisement. The red-body Susanoo violently swung the 10-punch sword in his hand and slashed towards Uchiha Ryujin's blue Susanoo. Well done. Seeing Uchiha Itachi take the initiative to attack, Uchiha Ryujin didn't panic at all. After a low shout, the blue was completely body. Susanoo held the clumped cloud cut that had become countless times larger. In armament hockey. With the surging of the shocking force, he directly slashed away without hesitation. Clang. After a few seconds, a sound of metal collision sounded. Shaquanjian and Kong Yunchi bumped into each other, and a terrifying energy shock wave erupted, causing Konoha village to tremble fiercely a few times. The battle begins. Facing this horrible scene, countless ninjas in Konoha village swallowed. However, unfortunately, the battle between the two was only a stalemate for a few seconds. Uchiha Itachi's red Susanoo seemed to be lacking in strength and began to retreat steadily and was shocked by dozens of steps. That powerful force. 2 deep gullies appeared on the ground. So powerful, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In the red Susanoo, Uchiha Itachi's look was a little surprised. Obviously, he did not expect Uchiha Ryujin's Susanoo to possess such terrifying power. After all, they are all perfect Susanoo, and the gap seems to be a bit big. Too weak. At this time, Uchiha Ryujin was controlling the blue Susanoo, and a chill appeared in the corner of his mouth in vain, and he yelled, Uchiha song, the farce about you should be over. After hearing this sentence, Uchiha Rong's expression changed in vain because, under his watch, the blue cloud that Susanoo is holding is cut up. An even more heart-palpitating power broke out, and it slashed towards him. Can't escape. Uchiha Itachi gritted his teeth and moved his mind, still controlling the red Susanoo picked up the 10-fist sword and stood in front of him. Advertisement. Clang. Another sound of metal collision sounded. This time Uchiha Ryujin is obviously moving. Under Uchiha Itachi's incredible gaze, the black flames and Shanshu chakra on the 10-fist sword were shaken away by the shocking power of the fluorescent white. And this is just the beginning. Click. A very crisp voice sounded. Faced with the shocking force and armament hockey's dual suppression, the 10-fist sword shattered at the sound, causing Kong Yun to slash against the red Susanoo without any hesitation. Rumble. The deafening roar sounded loudly. Under countless unbelievable gazes, Uchiha Itachi's red complete body Susanoo was cut in half from the middle, revealing Uchiha's appearance as a human being, a ghost, and a ghost. Call. Looking at Uchiha in Susanoo, Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Hiyashi and others in the distance all took a bite of cold gas. No way. The current Uchiha Itachi is so terrible. The 2 Mangekyo Sharingan kept shed blood and tears. The right arm seems to have been transplanted with first-generation cells, with a fairy face and another on the chest. Something white. How is it possible? Seeing his complete body Susanoo was cut open, Uchiha Itachi's pale cheeks showed a hint of panic, and there was some despair deep in his heart. Is this the strength of 5th Hokage? Even though he knows that Uchiha Ryujin is very strong, but, after he was crushed, Uchiha Itachi is still unbelievable. You know, he transplanted first Hokage cells and learned Sage Mode. Go to hell. Huh. Looking at the Uchiha song, Uchiha Ryujin didn't have any mercy from his subordinates, and his body flew out of the blue Susanoo in a flash. So fast Uchiha Itachi's expression changed suddenly. But when he was about to move his body, he realized that it was too late, because Uchiha Ryujin had already held his neck and was looking at him coldly. Ha ha ha. Facing Uchiha Ryujin who was holding his neck, Uchiha Itachi laughed unexpectedly. This was what he was waiting for. Izanami. Advertisement. In the next moment, Uchiha Itachi resolutely urged Mangekyo Sharingan once again, wanting to use the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan. Pouch. But, at the moment of display, Uchiha Itachi only felt that his eyes were dark. 2 Mangekyo Sharingan were taken out alive by Uchiha Ryujin. Later, Uchiha Itachi screamed in pain and used the forbidden technique in front of me. Did you think too much? Uchiha Ryujin sneered and looked at the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan in the palm of his left hand and said in a low voice. Your 2 Mangekyo Sharingan, I laughed at it. 417 U. Uchiha Itachi was completely desperate. He was just waiting for the last moment to display Izanami, bringing Uchiha Ryujin into infinite reincarnation, but Uchiha Ryujin saw through everything. White Zetsu, go back and tell Black Zetsu and Uchiha Obito that I will FK them all at once. Laugh. After collecting the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Ryujin moved his mind, stretched his left hand forward, and pulled a White Zetsu out of Uchiha Itachi's chest alive. Uchiha Ryujin, you bang. The next moment, just when this White Zetsu wanted to say something cruel, he was shaken to pieces by Uchiha Ryujin. After White Zetsu died, a blood hole appeared in Uchiha Itachi's chest. After struggling for a while, he completely gave up resistance. Why? I just follow the will of fire. Why is it so miserable? Why no one understands my heart? Ha. For the sake of Konoha village, I chose to destroy the Uchiha clan and kill my own parents. Is it really wrong? Successive blows. Uchiha fell into a certain kind of trance. He hasn't actually figured out why Uchiha Ryujin will appear during the night of the genocide. I'm sorry, Sasuke, I clicked. Seeing Uchiha Itachi still obsessed with his own world, Uchiha Ryujin frowned, and with a slight grip on his right hand, he broke Uchiha Itachi's neck. Since you choose to be the 2nd or 5th boy, then you can't get rid of it. Death is the best destination. Chapter 119. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 120 The Fear of Hoshigaki Kisame, Sasori, Deidara. Boom. After squeezing Uchiha Itachi's neck, Uchiha Ryujin didn't even look at Uchiha Itachi's body, and threw it out. Will this kill Uchiha Itachi? This is too scary. Uchiha Itachi, the 2nd and 5th boy, finally died, and he was really comfortable. Quickly. After Uchiha Itachi was killed, many ninjas in Konoha village made a series of uproars indiscriminately. Among them, some of the ninjas of the Uchiha clan gave out a vicious sigh. For Uchiha Itachi, the people of the Uchiha clan are quite hated, just like the dead Uchiha Shisui. Now that 5th Hokage cleans up the door, it's a great pleasure. Alright, you guys go take a rest and take Naruto to the hospital by the way. At this time, Uchiha Ryujin turned his gaze, looked at Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga Hiashi, and ordered a deep voice. Yes, Lord 5th Hokage. After hearing these words, Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga Hiashi nodded hurriedly. Among them, Uchiha Fugaku took a complicated look at Uchiha Itachi's body, opened his mouth, and when he wanted to say something, Uchiha Ryujin simply took advantage of him. Falling interrupted. I know what you want to say. Uchiha Ryujin glanced at Uchiha Fugaku, took a deep breath, and said coldly. From the beginning to the end, Uchiha Itachi was looking for death by himself. If you want to blame it, you can only blame himself. Alas. Uchiha Fugaku looked dark, sighed and said, I understand, 5th Hokage. Rest assured. Advertisement. Uchiha Ryujin seemed to have thought of something, and pointedly said, Uchiha Song at least left a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. I will give Uchiha Sasuke after Uchiha Sasuke awakens Mangekyo Sharingan. Really? Uchiha Fugaku became excited all at once, and there was no way. Now the tuba is dead. The trumpet Uchiha Sasuke is Uchiha Fugaku's darling. It's really long. Uchiha Ryujin spread out his hands and said indifferently, this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, I originally prepared this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan for Uchiha Sasuke. After saying this, Uchiha Ryujin flew out in a flash. Now Hidan, Kakuzu, Uchiha Itachi, Loquat Juzo have been solved by him, and Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori are waiting to be cleaned up. The north side of Konoha village. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After the red Susanoo of Uchiha Song was cut alive, the looks of Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori all changed. Of course, they knew that Uchiha Itachi was already horrible. How to do? Uchiha Itachi, Loquat Juzo, Hidan, Kakuzu, all seemed to be cleaned up. I knew it was such a result, I shouldn't have participated in this action, and now I can't leave if I want to go. Soon, after adjusting their mentality, Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori all looked at each other, and each could see the sorrow and despair in their eyes. As the S-rank rebels in major ninja villages, they consider themselves to be rebellious and overbearing masters. The results of it. In Konoha village they encountered an existential crisis, think about it. It's all very painful things. Give up. You can't run. Advertisement. At this time, while Jiraiya and Tsunade were relieved, they both looked at Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori with fearful eyes. Because, through the fight just now, the two already knew about the strengths of Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori, and they were all strong in the shadow level. At least two of them joined forces. It is very difficult to clean up Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori. Thinking of this, Tsunade and Jiraiya still looked a little speechless at Eight Tails, who hadn't made any moves, just watching the show there. No way, it's in Konoha village now. If you let the tail beast act, it will destroy Konoha village if you don't pay attention. Therefore, after the war, Eight Tails has not done anything, eating snacks there and shouting cheer. It's impossible to admit defeat. Hearing these words, Hoshigaki Kisame grinned, showing sharp teeth, and said coldly, Jiraiya, Tsunade, you are worthy of one of the three ninjas, but, if you want to kill us, you will also pay a heavy price. Keep fighting. Sasori was hiding in the Scarlet Hue, making a hoarse voice, saying, I still have a puppet, haven't I used it? After saying this, with a wave of chakra fluctuations. Under the surprised eyes of Jiraiya and Tsunade, a puppet with blue hair and yellow eyes, wearing a white wind shadow robe and lined with a blue ninja suit, appeared on the scene. For a long time, is this the moment I saw this puppet? Tsunade and Jiraiya couldn't help but let out a cry of exclamation. They were making a huge wave in their hearts, and they couldn't calm down at all. Third Cage. This puppet is actually Third Cage. As good at using magnet-style sand iron, he is known as the strongest wind in the history of ninja. Advertisement. Shadow's Third Cage. Of course Jiraiya and Tsunade knew. At first, it was the disappearance of Third Cage that led to the outbreak of the Third Ninja World War. It now appears that Third Cage has not disappeared bizarrely, but has been made into a puppet by Sunagaku's rebel Sasori of the Red Sand. Haha, how are you surprised? Looking at the scared Jiraiya and Tsunade, and Sasori hiding in the Scarlet Amber, he laughed triumphantly, and proudly said that art is eternal, and it is his honor to make Third Cage a puppet by me. Art is not eternal, good Wang Zhao. Upon hearing this sentence, before Tsunade and Jiraiya had spoken, Deidara was very dissatisfied. He retorted that the moment of the explosion was the perfect embodiment of art. You are wrong. Sasori, who was hiding in the bloody amber, said in a cold voice that explosion is the art of a hammer. Single quote. Wait a minute. Seeing Deidara and Sasori arguing about why it was art again, Hoshigaki Kisame's face turned green, but, thinking of the difficulties he faced, he suppressed his inner anger and became a peacemaker. Boom. However, just when Hoshigaki Kisame wanted to talk, a terrifying wave of fluorescent white energy bombarded Third Cage's puppets at an extremely fast speed, causing the puppet of Third Cage to collapse instantly. Turned into dust. Chapter 120. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Chapter 121 Feeding. Really fragrant, 3 watchers kneel for subscription. This. Looking at the puppet that just came out Third Cage. Before they even started, they were bombarded and turned into dust. Deidara and Sasori were a little confused. Hoshigaki Kisame's body was a little stiff. Only Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Eight Tails who were watching the show showed excitement. To be able to explode the puppet Third Cage so simply and neatly, there is only one explanation: 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin is here. And the truth is so. A few seconds later, Uchiha Ryujin, who is a Hokage god robe, appeared beside Tsunade and Jiraiya, looking at Deidara, Sasori, and Hoshigaki Kisame with a smile. After Uchiha Ryujin appeared, Tsunade was the first to breathe a sigh of relief. She was terrified, and she could endure it for so long. Of course, through this event, Tsunade also secretly made a decision in his heart. That is to take some free time to let Master 5th Hokage Uchiha Ryujin find a way to treat her panasemia. Lord 5th Hokage, you are finally here. Next to it, Jiraiya 427 put down the kunai in his hand, with a relieved expression on his cheeks. Lord 5th Hokage, I have been monitoring the 3 of them all the time. Eight Tails, who had been eating snacks from start to finish, put down the snacks as soon as he saw Uchiha Ryujin, showing a very serious look. Advertisement. Listening to this sentence, Uchiha Ryujin glared at Eight Tails. Eight Tails shrank his head in a daze, and immediately stopped talking. Give it to me. The next moment, Uchiha Ryujin nodded at Tsunade and Jiraiya, and then walked a few steps forward, and looked at the 3 of Hoshigaki Kisame, saying, Are you surrendering or admit defeat? Surrender is impossible. After Sasori, who was hiding in the blood, suppressed the horror in his heart, he gritted his teeth and said, You actually blow up the work that I have worked so hard to make, it is inexcusable. Single quote. Correct. Deidara took a deep breath, suppressed CDCG, inner fear, and said coldly, 5th Hokage, you are indeed strong, but we are not weak. What about you? Uchiha Ryujin curled his lips indifferently and looked at Hoshigaki Kisame with indifferent eyes. Of course, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In order to increase a little bit of oppression. Unknowingly, Uchiha Ryujin's eyes have entered the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan mode, bursting with palpitating pupil power fluctuations. Facing Mangekyo Sharingan of Uchiha Ryujin. Hoshigaki Kisame, who has always been fearless, is rarely scared. He really wants to be like Deidara and Sasori. But, thinking that Kakuzu, Hidan, Uchiha Itachi, and Loquat Juzo are all dead, Hoshigaki Kisami's heart is rarely panicked, and he can no longer maintain the calmness he deserves. Advertisement. Of course, at this time, no one noticed. An invisible pupil power has enveloped Hoshigaki Kisame. If it is normal, Sasori, Deidara and others may still be aware of something wrong, but, now facing the god of ninja Uchiha Ryujin, their heart is really panicked. I surrender. At the next moment, Hoshigaki Kisami's eyes were certain, and he said something surprisingly. What? Hoshigaki Kisame, are you going to surrender? Said Deidara and Sasori are some idiots. Immediately, he looked at Hoshigaki Kisame with a very unbelievable look. Obviously, he did not expect that Hoshigaki Kisame would surrender. That's right. Hoshigaki Kisame, who had made up his mind, knew that there was no turning back. He threw away the ring with Nan engraved on his finger and grinned, saying that the person who knows the current affairs is a good master. I am a member of Konoha village from now on. You. Deidara and Sasori didn't know what to say at once. What about you? After Hoshigaki Kisame gave up, Uchiha Ryujin's cold gaze turned to Deidara and Sasori subconsciously. Just a simple look. It made Deidara and Sasori tremble. I gave up. Almost without hesitation, Deidara squeezed both fists after suppressing the throbbing in his heart, and said with a sullen expression. You guys. Advertisement. After hearing Deidara admit defeat, Sasori, who was hiding in the Hiryuhu, was really angry to the extreme. In his opinion, Hoshigaki Kisame and Deidara were big traitors. They betrayed the Akatsuki organization. It was simply unbearable. In this situation, Sasori, who was hiding in the Scarlet Hokage, was also furious, and hurriedly said, Lord 5th Hokage, I also surrender. Yui, it's so good to admit defeat. That's it. Faced with Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, Jiraiya and Tsunade, who gave up all at once, they were a little dumbfounded. As a result, I gave up all of a sudden, which is too shocking, right? Get it? He glanced at Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, and Uchiha Ryujin, who had surrendered. The corners of his mouth were slightly tilted, and he nodded with satisfaction. In fact, he wanted to kill Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, but I thought of Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori. It's Kurigakure, Iwagakure, Sunagakure's betrayal. He moved a little thought. That is to subdue Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, Sasori. In the future, when Konoha village wants to unify the ninja world, Hoshigaki Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori's understanding of their respective ninja villages will definitely have the effect of getting twice the result with half the effort. Wait a minute. Is it for 5th Hokage to subdue them? At this time, Tsunade and Jiraiya seemed to have realized something, their hearts were shaken, and their expressions suddenly became serious. The two of them knew very well that if they really wanted to, the ninja world might be about to change.